morning. How are we? Monday morning, cold outside, warm in here. You had a nice coffee? My name is Silvana Masella, the CEO of Trust IT. We're here for the EUCloudEdgeIoT Infoday. Thank you to the European Commission. Thank you also to the EUCloudEdgeIoT project partners who are here. And we have a full room and loads of you online as well. So this is extremely, extremely positive. The need to strategically invest in the next generation of European cloud and edge capacities is expressed in different occasions and has been emphasized under the Recovery and Resilience Facility in the EU Strategy for Data. And so it's crucial that we're here in the lineup. Sorry, you hear me going fizzy, yeah? That's better, yeah. Can you hear me still? Yeah. In the lineup before our festive season this holiday for you to get cranking on some wonderful new calls that will close next year. So without further ado, the objectives of the event, as you can see, for this Info Day are on 5 calls that you see here highlighted both in blue and in pink that I'm sure the majority of you are very familiar with already. So we'll be listening to these from our esteemed colleagues from the European Commission shortly. Now, the objectives are clearly to exploit opportunities. We have a wonderful pitching session, so they're very heavily organized. So thanks to the teams who've put this. And these will be moderated by myself and by Monique Kalistig. Put your hand up, Monique, so everyone can see her, CEO Martel. And this is an opportunity clearly for you to talk about what you want to do in terms of innovations and find your perfect partners, okay? 36 will be pitching their company or research idea today, and this will be both online and physically face-to-face. What we'd like to also hear, and we put this in one of the questions, it's great to see newcomers. So it's nice for you to say, this is the first time I've ever been in a project proposal. I spoke to someone this morning who said, how do I try and get into this? So it's wonderful. Or you're an existing beneficiary and you want to evolve an existing solution application you've been doing in the subject area, and you need more investment to take this forward. It's also nice for you to say that. And it's a good understanding also for the policymakers to see the trajectory of people over the years, the investments that have been made from a new perspective and also existing ones. So please do underline that when you are giving your pitch. Say exactly in which of these categories you belong to. So looking at the agenda, you'll see this is the launchpad room, and the one next door is the balcony, where we'll be hearing the 5 calls that I mentioned before. There are a set of pitches then, and it will end with presentations at 12:40. Now, the networking and coffee is on the floor below, okay? But what's nice is you don't have to wait. If you do want to stretch your legs and go out and have a break, go outside, there's coffee and biscuits and ongoing throughout the morning. What's nice then is your networking sessions. Now, you'll have seen the Beta Match platform provided by our partners Martel, where you have the opportunity to actually organize one-on-one meetings. Please exploit this opportunity. This platform will remain open. It doesn't close. So even after the event and right up until the calls, you can continue making networking opportunities and contacting the people here. So exploit this and do take that forward. You're still in time. If you haven't booked your meetings today, get on the system and you can already do that. It's not too late if you're staying around till clearly after 15:30 when we will be closing the event. Although the rooms here are available till 6. If you have a later flight, stick around. You won't be kicked out. Okay, so do exploit the full areas. Now you can scan the agenda on the QR code here, so you can go into more details on what you've just seen here. And now, before we kick off, we'd like you please to go onto slido.com if you can. It's very quick. If you can't access the QR code, just click on slido.com and you punch in the number 2618332. If you could do that You don't need the hashtag because it's already embedded in the system. And we want to immediately ask the question we've just said before. Aha, what's your experience with EU Commission funding opportunities? So none of you have a first involvement. Ah, yes, we do. That's coming in. And 8%, and more or less, okay, so I do have over 50% who are well experienced, so that's always a positive thing, because you like to be in project proposals where people know what they're doing. But I do like the numbers where we have the first involvement, and I'm sure the European Commission appreciate when they see newcomers coming into here. That's super. So enjoy your day. Try and speak to as many people as possible. Okay, that's the reason why we are here. And best of luck with your proposal bids. And with that, I'm going to pass the floor, and I'll need my glasses, I don't want to get your surname wrong. Over to Ralf Riemenschneider, our head of sector of IoT from DG Connect of the European Commission. Over to you. There, that should be working. Thank you.
Many thanks, Silvana. Many thanks also for your team, and also from Trust IoT and from Winnie Callisti and the team. Thanks for Open, Continuum, and Unlock CI, the CSA, supporting this event. Good morning, everyone. I think in the beginning we didn't dare to make an event on Monday morning so early. But on the other hand, we said, well, you have to do something before Christmas. You have to get the people out, in order to pitch, that there's something coming up, that you start thinking about it, and then you have time over Christmas to shape your ideas and eventually also to form proposals afterwards. Yes, I'm working in the Internet of Things unit of DG Connect. I think we are a cost-cutting unit. We work on research and innovation, but also on downstream technologies in the area of energy, manufacturing, farming, and mobility. So, and that's why I think we really have all these connections to other units. So today we have two streams, and one is on Destination 3, and the other one is together under the Destination 4, together with my colleague Luis Bisquet, who will present the second set of objectives. So we started off Horizon Europe with a complete new, fresh mindset under the data economy. So, well, there's an incredible movement in terms of computing happening. So we generated ideas around the next generation of Cloud-Edge-IoT continuum, building on cloud technologies, cloud industry, as well as the IoT, and bringing that together. We started off with research topics in 2020. It's a combination between software, IoT research, but also IoT downstream, industrial pilots, and cloud computing. A couple of RIAs are still running, and we hope that also now, if we talk for innovation actions, that they build and exploit what's already has been developed. And now we move to the third wave of calls, and you see it now in red and orange. The calls which are open today, as said, we have two streams. I start with red one on innovation actions and pilots, and Luis will continue with the software topics, open source for cloud edge, digital autonomy, and software engineering. So that's the setup. Also very important to know that under the Destination 3, we have these pilot actions of 45 million, and then will be supported by another CSA, and they're supposed to work closely together. I will not talk too much about the CSA today because you have the call text, and if you have questions about the CSA, just ask me, I'm around, or put it on the platform. So the focus today definitely will be on pilot actions, which are the most complex endeavor. So actually, we've seen the paradigm shift from cloud computing towards edge computing, which also has a key role in IoT markets. And we experience that there's a huge opportunity for industry to grasp that opportunity. Europe has strength in different areas like automotive, factory automation, energy, or healthcare. And there was a recent study which was just published last week about the market analysis in mainly professional IoT versus consumer IoT. And it's a challenge and an opportunity for European ecosystems to get strength, because they face numerous challenges in a global scale, reversing the trend towards outsourcing of production and innovation to Asia, but also a better means to keep the industrial stake in Europe and compete with the hyperscalers, which increasingly also embark on industrial applications. So the new value chain from cloud to edge to IoT has different elements. I think traditional ones are the devices, the hardware, the equipment, but also, the connectivity and the network. And then you have the cloud applications. The new infrastructure, what you call near edge and far edge, offers several opportunities. In the first place, it's an orchestration between local control, local intelligence, and what's happening in the cloud. And secondly, it benefits from tremendous involvement and developments on the computing. So you have more computing capacity at the edge, which brings more intelligence and allows you to integrate more functions. The key element of what we call near and far edge is still the orchestration with the different devices which are distributed, but also, with the amazing involvement, what's happening in cloud technologies and cloud intelligence. So I think that is the bit of the challenge. It's a new infrastructure on the one hand, and has this cost-cutting element between established cloud technologies and established industrial devices and equipments. So if we call for innovation actions, we mean it's close to demonstration. But the challenge is, I think it has to definitely take a system approach, a system integration approach. And the system integration comprises different elements in different dimensions. On one hand, it's the known embedded systems and control. I think many of you know that area very well. If you talk about applications like energy or manufacturing, I think that's the bread and butter. But it has to bring together also the learnings from Internet of Things, bring together distributed information, aggregating information, connecting objects, and to benefit from emerging cloud technologies, digital twins, and to have this cost-cutting element. The key element is that we don't want to have a single development or linear development. I think the edge is so complex, and to manage complexity, no company can do it alone. So we foster a platform economy at the edge, taking a system-level approach from hardware of smart devices to operating systems, what you call abstractions and virtualization, meta operating systems, to middleware and application software. If you talk about an abstraction layer from the underlying hardware, it's a separation of software and hardware. It allows what we call virtualization and gives you flexibility in terms of deploying functions after the system is already in operation, providing updates of functions over the air. This new technology should be open. We want to avoid that one company takes it all. We're looking for an open and vibrant ecosystem. That's the core why we put their public money inside. To be concrete, to give you one example, I thought, I think I have to give you something concrete. I start with some home environment, smart home, which has connecting different appliances, a smart meter gateway, home management system, a battery at home, or solar on the roof, a heat pump, or a charging station. So that's a challenge. I think it's very well known. It's very a hot topic at the moment. So doing the virtualization of the different devices, connecting the devices solves a lot of interoperability problems. But to keep that virtualization open as an open platform, as a key element. And then the question is, where do you put this orchestration layer? Do you put it on the gateway? Do you put it on the charging station? Or you do put it on a home energy management system? Or is it a different device, maybe an intelligent battery? So besides the power electronics and power control we have in these devices, we have a digital element which abstracts from the hardware and the control and gives you that flexibility of virtualization, as well as orchestration with cloud functions. So many of the The functions and the applications will be still developed in far away from the system and then deployed later, and that's what we call the orchestrations. The key element is that we have market actors from different background and different cultures. Could be automotive OEMs, charge point operators, energy communities, virtual plants, home batteries, fleet management, and so on. There are many, many functions, while still the concept remains the same, and the computing functionality is generic, and it's not much differentiating from one application to the other. And we see similar trends or similar implementations also what we call in the automotive, in what we call the software-defined vehicle. And if you talk about automotive OEMs, see that comes together. They have the work on the next generation of vehicles, electronics, and architectures. At the same time, they have to solve the charging problem. So we want these pilots definitely to be industry-driven. I think it's sort of a downstream effort. We want a platform approach to share hardware and foster an open ecosystem in areas like renewable energy, buildings, electromobility, farming, and/or industrial automation. We want pilots to cover more than one application domain. I think that is definitely the requirement. And there you also should demonstrate a cross-sector approach, meaning that the hardware or the abstraction layer is similar to both applications. To show you the characteristics, it's closing 19th of March. Total is 45 billion. We're expecting large pilots, 20 to 25 million. But don't unnecessarily inflate the pilot. If you have a nice consortium, concise idea, you also can ask for smaller budgets. Don't inflate the budget. The more crispy, the more concise your proposal is, the more it's convincing. It will not be rejected because you don't reach that proposed funding range. Technology readiness level 3 to 4 and to achieve 6 to 7 later on. Important to know that up to 20% of the funding will be could be allocated to financial support to third parties, which is an opportunity for smaller companies, SMEs, and startups to enter the projects after the start of the project. Gives a lot of flexibility, but also flexibility to validate open APIs or standards, or to look for new application areas. I don't go to the idea of an open ecosystem. I think you have it in the slides. The main element here is you have to define an interfaces, you have to find open standards, open APIs, you need a network orchestration, and the key element is you need consensus on this openness in order to bring in third parties. Otherwise, if that is not well defined, it will be very difficult for third parties to enter and to exploit what you call open platform. We see a lot of developments already for this virtualization at the edge in the open source domain from different communities, Eclipse, Linux, also Apache. There's an opportunity to include and to build on these open source projects and to mobilize a community which is already there. If you do so, provide a clear positioning what and why you use this project. Where is it in your architecture or in your approach? So don't use open source for the sake of open source because the Commission wants open source. So I think there's an opportunity. It's not necessary, but if so, make a clear positioning. For the checklist, we don't want innovation pilots, which is a linear execution of a work program. I think they have to be dynamic, they have to be flexible. So that's why I put up a checklist for multidisciplinarity to address cross-sector platforms. I mentioned that. Address cost-cutting aspects like open calls, open standards, open source frameworks, data compliance, security. Proposals should include a business case and exploitation strategy. So the clear path for industrial uptake. Standardization is a key element to include what sort of standards will be used and how you want to contribute. And then we want to encourage collaboration in a wider context. So that's why the pilots have to foresee a close collaboration with the CSEE we will be selecting. So actually, that's mainly what I wanted to say. There are some elements in your proposals which should be crystal clear, and I will try to capitalize on that. It's more computing capacity at the edge. So what sort of computing stack you will include, the platform economy, the open APIs, towards an open app store at the edge, up to 20% of open calls, which is not a must, so it's an opportunity. And at the end of the day, to foster green and digital transition in terms of new services, edge services spanning across different key domains, and there to demonstrate common architectures in open standards. I think that's all from my side. I think most of the information and all information you find on the portal Cloud-Edge-IoT, which is quite well organized, also including this the brokerage platform. I think it was mentioned by Silvana, will be open. So with that, I wish you stimulating discussions, an exciting event today. Make good contacts, and I think we are there for your questions, and we stay up for your service. Thanks so much for your attention.
Interestingly, as an SME, it's nice to see the FSTP, the funding support parties, giving the funding for SMEs under innovation actions that are clearly at 100% rather than 70% for SMEs, which is obviously a problem. So that's encouraging. So do make sure that you look at that aspect. Thanks once again, Ralph, for that intervention. Rolf, Lewis Bousquet up. Thank you very much. Lewis is a program officer of DG Connect for the European Commission and will be underlining the other set of calls open now. Thank you. Over to you, Lewis.
Thank you. Presentation is good through this.
Yeah, they're not moving. Hang on a second.
That's Rolf, actually.
These are indeed. Okay, there we go.
Okay. It's the other way around. Okay. So now we're in. Well, thank you all participants for your interest in all calls. I like always to start mentioning the reason why we are here. It's not that the European Commission is in the business of ICT or specific cloud computing things because of it. Actually, it's because of its underlying mission. The mission of the European Commission is actually towards the European citizens, to create a vivid economy with jobs that allows European citizens to have more opportunities. That's the reason actually why we invest in ICT. In particular, my directorate invests in ICT, also runs policy initiatives to make sure that Europe is competitive and also to create a global leader in digital policies. And we work in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, common data spaces, supercomputing, and everything that can contribute to make Europe stay at the cutting edge of technology for the sake, of course, of the European citizens. In particular, I would like to remind you that the use of ICT technology is widespread in Europe. However, it's not always the same, and there are services which are more attracted. There are other services which are not so used. The reason why we invest in ICT is precisely because ICT is a fantastic tool to increase the competitiveness of the European economy. Through we have seen how the world has changed with emails, with web, in comparison to what was before the 20th century. And our vision continues to be on that way. We expect this decade to be a digital decade, and we have set objectives for the 2030 in terms of more edge nodes, 10,000 edge nodes, also 75% of uptake by EU enterprises, because, well, cloud computing makes a fantastic tool to make sure that we are efficient and adapted to what is needed. The elasticity that it provides allows making sure that we can make efficient use of resources. What's more, what started with speaking about the cloud computing, now we see that it has transformed into a computing continuum. Before we spoke just about how to make computation in a data center and then actually to spread throughout, because it's very efficient use of resources. In the data center, you can actually serve many users. Well, now we have seen that there are many activities for which the data center is too far away, and because of that, we are seeing what we are seeing, well, that the edge is actually gaining attraction, while in the cloud, we continue to see a dramatic increase in the need for resources and new activities and new workloads there. We are seeing that in the edge, it's even bigger, and we see that there is an explosion of the need of computation throughout the computing continuum. And it is because of that we are investing through different tools. We are investing through the Digital Europe program. We're investing through CEF on cloud computing also. And we're investing through the European Research Framework program. As Rolf has presented, the Piloting Emerging Smart IoT call. But we are also investing in other lines concerning the computing continuum. And I'm going to present 3 lines that actually allow us to make sure that we increase the competitiveness throughout the computing continuum. And at this point, I would like to actually remind you that in the end, what the users are seeing from ICT are basically services. When we see this inverted pyramid, we see that there is a market for nearly 44 trillion euros on what is ICT resource, ICT services that would not be able if we did not have the bottom of this pyramid. Without semiconductors, it would be fairly difficult to have such a 44 billion euro market. Of course, without semiconductors, we had telephony at the beginning of the 20th century. We had also the radio, but it's not what we have in the 21st century. And in this sense, we have to make sure that Europe is able to provide these services, and is able to provide because it has the possibility to supply the different layers of this pyramid. Otherwise, well, we may run that if we do not have one layer, sorry, but the service is not supported, so it falls, we're not. That's what we speak about digital autonomy, to make sure that we can support these services no matter what happens at geopolitical terms. In particular, when we go to cloud computing, if we want to make sure that we are able to supply cloud services, we need to make sure that we have the infrastructure. And when we speak about the infrastructure, we speak about the software, but also the hardware. Because, well, sorry to tell, but have good luck executing software if you do not have a computer. And in this sense, we analyzed a particular technology that has gone through a dramatic change during the last 30 years. And back from ideological fights that were 15, 6, 17, 20 years ago, we have seen that it has evolved quite a lot. We are seeing, I'm speaking about open source, we are seeing that open source is now throughout the ICT industry. Everybody is using open source. Of course, everybody is not only using open source. Open source is something that you have in your mobiles, that you have in your smart television, even without knowing, but because basically it makes a pretty good use of the resources of the company to rely on that is already there and to pick it and internalize rather to reinvent the wheel. It's not that open source is being sold as is, or the business models that we're speaking, is that basically the business models that existed at the time and exist currently, well, cannot live with their eyes blinded to what resources and assets exist in terms of open source codes and developments. In this sense, the European Commission ran a study on the economic impact of open source software and hardware. The study was published in September 2021, and, well, we got the confirmation of enormous impact of open source. We also got the confirmation that it actually makes a lot of sense to invest in open source from a public perspective because it has cost-benefit ratios of over 1 to 4. And the impact of open source in Europe was quantified through this study that included an econometric model between 65 and 95 billion euros. What's more, we changed to a certain extent the way how we regard open source. If open source was regarded as versus proprietary 20 years ago, we now see open source as what is called in economic terms as a public good. A good such as, for example, a source of water in a village that everybody can use, some to drink, some to feed animals, but actually with the possibility, if you want, to actually water your crops and then sell your crops. Why not? Because the source is there with a very important advantage towards a source in a village. You can say, well, the source may not be infinite. Well, actually, open source is infinite because you can replicate it the number of times you need and you will continue to be at the same place. Anyway, the study also said that there was a positive correlation and a reason of causality between the uptake of open source and how the economy was growing. And of course, that's very important for a public administration, where it says that, well, actually, if we see that by investing in open source, we're going to increase the GDP, that's something very interesting. And in order to maximize the economic impact of open source in the European economy, there is a need for EU policies. EU policies that not necessarily mean mandating anything. Well, of course, it would be quite strange to go to a field where actually freedom is what imperates and to say now we're going to oblige. No, sorry, that's something that the study really said that it was not working. Instead, what was working is a culture of adoption, a culture of removing fear, uncertainty, and doubt, of working as lighthouse so that you know, well, I can go with my fish ship to that place because I can see now that there is fish, while before I'm not going to because I don't know if there is. But now the light that there is says, okay, I can go. And if I want to go, if I don't want, I go somewhere else, no problem. And also, because open source can help us to ensure that Europe is digitally autonomous. Nobody can stop us from using open source. And we have seen actually with geopolitical instructions given by certain countries saying, well, you have no access to our technology. And who was supposed to have no access to that technology had no problem because basically, well, okay, I have no access to that technology, but I continue to have the open source file. Look, I'm going to, in a matter of months, to have my competing solution. So no problem. You cannot stop. We are in a free world, which is fantastic for us. What is also true is that open source has managed to build a stack from the kernel up to the application. However, below the kernel, it's still closed. And the question is, well, open source is fancy, but what kind of measures can be taken in order to ensure that we get with open source, well, maybe openness below, if that makes economic sense, or basically a leverage to make the ICT in Europe more competitive. And it is from this that we have three different calls. And by the way, I'm going to speak also about software engineering, because as you understand, it's not only open source, it's actually software which is everywhere. And actually, if we invest in software, we are sure that we're going to help the whole ICT sector. The first call concerns the development of prototypes of new servers. Well, the idea is that the server is the basics of any computing continuum. Either the server at the data center for cloud services, or either edge servers, which are made at to run, for example, the video control of a traffic connection, and then, well, actually you need to execute a specific workloads there because of the time constraints do not allow to send them to the data center. And well, actually, if we speak about opening the kernel below, we're speaking about integrating open source technologies there. And today, the open source ISA that seems more relevant is the RISC-V. So the idea of this call is to fund projects between 4 and 6 million euros that create prototypes and start demonstrating that open source services, that if you recall the inverted pyramid, that's what the users want. Basically, they don't care of what is below, but on open source ISAs. And of course, if we speak about an open source ISA, we mean that we will then have the possibility to actually choose that or not. It's not a question of imposing, it's a question of bringing more freedom to the market. And freedom to the market, that means also that markets need to be created. So it's not only the prototypes, but it also standards and best practices that have to be developed. When we speak about the computing market and what we are seeing in the computing market, well, we see that basically we have computers, but these computers have components, and that the market has evolved in many standards that interconnect memory, peripherals, processors. Well, what standards can be reused? What standards need to be created? That is also for this call. And by the way, for the IoT pilots, we have said that we're expecting 25 million, and we have a budget of 45 million, but do not hesitate to shrink the budget if it's lower. Here it's the opposite. We're speaking about 4 to 6 million. Do not hesitate if you have a good project and you need to double, because the idea is precisely to make it succeed, to make sure that we are well, now able to launch calls to say on complete open source infrastructure. To also put into perspective what we are asking, we are not going to develop everything from RISC-V, from the raw silicon to the application. We rely on the current open source file for what is between the kernel and the application. And for what is below the component integration level and the semiconductor, we rely on the specific projects at European level that have already done so. For example, the BEIA has already developed RISC-V processors. There are also other processors, and there are also possibilities to use FPGAs to develop processors with RISC-V cores. That is not part of the call. What is part of the call is the integration of these RISC-V processors into an open source file that allows us to supply Cloud-Edge service. We're speaking about computing servers throughout the computing continuum. The second call concerns fundamentals of software engineering. We say that software is everywhere, but wait, this is not a call for software everywhere. And if you have a software program, then you can actually apply to this. This is concerning software engineering. Software engineering means methods and tools to build software. What we want to have is actually a call where we are doing something that will leverage the power of what is afterwards. So it's not that you have to say, well, we are going to do a fantastic traffic control program and we're here. No, we're here to develop the tool that will allow you to develop this control program. And well, what now? What's different between software engineering? Because, well, this is not a new topic. We have been funding software engineering at least for the last 20 years that I know, maybe even before, but it makes a lot of sense because it's the tools that you will be using to build then the other things. It's like building new hammers, new drills that will allow you then to build things. Well, the difference are the focus that are now because of the state of the art of the current ICT technologies. And we're speaking about integrating AI tools for developing methods and tools here. It's that has to be clear. It's not to develop AI, this topic. But this topic is to use AI for methods and tools to develop software. Also, this call covers, well, cybersecurity. But it's not that we're developing things for cybersecurity, it's that we're developing tools to make sure that what we will develop will be cyber secure. So tools and methods that allow you to say, whatever I code afterwards, well, I will have a way to ensure that it's cyber secure. Of course, you will have to present use cases if you come to this topic. But the use cases are not the core, are just implementation. We're speaking about projects of low technology readiness, so from 2 to 5. But of course, because it's abstract and it's fundamental technologies. And because of that, we need to be sure that at least these methods and tools are usable for something. But this is the test and the evidence. The curve is on software engineering. And finally, the third topic concerns the public recognition scheme for open source. I mentioned the study and how it is not interesting to force open source. However, what is important is to act as a lighthouse, to remove fear, uncertainty, and doubt, to present ways in which, well, nobody has got any problem in saying, well, why not going to open source? And in particular, one of the ways is actually to recognize this publicly. The idea of this topic is to create some sort of Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize, but in the field of open source. In the same way that a chemistry professor, while doing its research, well, is thinking or is not thinking about the Nobel Prize, or has it got in his head thinking, oh, if I win the Nobel Prize, well, I'm sure that that has a qualitative interest that we cannot quantify. But I can tell you that from the hundreds of thousands of professors that are in universities of Europe, not only those who win the Nobel Prize every year are thinking of winning it. And here, what we want is to do exactly the same. Why not to present, oh my God, there's the open source prize for, well, I would say now ideas, but these ideas are just inventions. For example, for the kernel development, I don't know. Because the work of this CSA is to first to identify which key areas should be the focus of a prize. So the same as you have the chemistry, physics, literature, Nobel Prize piece, and I've missed two, I think. Anyway, the same you would have, but in areas of open source. This CSA, after having designed which are the different awards, the different areas of award, should define a ceremony and at least implement it once, if not twice. Because our idea is precisely to convert this into a recurrent event that acts as a way to steer up interest in open source, which the econometric study says that it's positive for the European Union. And to here it was my presentation, so I guess we will have time during the day to answer questions.
Lovely, thank you, Luis.
Yeah.
Thank you. Indeed. Just a confirmation, we did have a question online regarding the point I raised with yourself, Rob, about the 70-20%. If SMEs are contributing to the FSTP calls, they receive funding at 100%. Confirmed? Yes. Okay, so those of you, if it was unclear, if you're an SME and you apply, you do get 100% funding. Okay? Another question? Yes, please? Yeah.
Is this only basically for the cascading funding or for your SME partner?
It's for the cascading funding. If you're an SME, indeed, if you're an SME beneficiary partner in an IA, you would usually qualify for 70% funding. That's, I think, why we underlined how the cascading part is clearly inviting for SMEs. Monique?
I have a question for Luis. For the
Yeah.
Nobel Prize, Luis, is the prize in money included in this €2 million budget for the CSA, or how do you envisage this? It's not very clear from the page.
Maybe I'll, for the online, I'll have to speak to them.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, Luis.
Yeah.
Indeed. So we had the question here. Actually, Monique, do you want to say it again for the microphone so people online can hear you too?
Thank you. So my question is about the Nobel Prizes, so the awards, let's say. The awards should be included budget-wise within the 2 million that will be assigned to the CSA and via third-party cascade funding model or not?
Okay, you are already assuming that there has to be also a specific amount to give to those who are winning the prize. We are not saying that this is necessary. Actually, the CSA has to define whether it is necessary or not, because maybe the recognition is enough, and then, well, you cover expenses, you give a prize. That could be. But anyway, I'm not saying that that should not be included either, because precisely the mission of the CSA is to define what has to be given. And if that is the case, then it will have to be included as in the action, because that's the budget that we have.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Monique. Any other questions? Okay, so we can see online which are the funding calls that you are interested in, and it's nice we have a good array of interest. So now is where the fun begins, okay? So we're moving to the pitch sessions. You will see you have a different color lanyard. Some of you have red, some of you have blue. Now, which means that you have selected which session you will be in, either to present or to listen to. This is also the case for those of you who are online listening in. You are going to be moved automatically into the rooms where you access the presentations that are coming in. So those of you with, so the data calls will stay, the people with a blue lanyard, so all blues, you stay here, okay? Those of you with a red lanyard, you'll be following Monique, and you're going to be going to the balcony room, okay? So please take your stuff or leave it here, it's up to you. Go into the red lanyard to the balcony, and then we can get started as soon as possible with our pitches, which will take us up to our networking coffee break at 10:35. Thank you very much, and let's hear these wonderful pitches coming into us. I'd like to, whilst we're moving, if I can call up Giuseppe Garcia, Director Silicon, co-founder. Thank you very much. Yeah. Perfect. Bravo.
Yes.
Okay, indeed. Lovely. Yes?
The questions we're making through Slido will be answered at some point, I guess. Through the app, we are making some questions as well.
Indeed.
Will be answered at some point.
Yes, okay. We'll answer those too. Yeah. We're going to check those questions online and then bring them up all together. Okay. Perfect. Giuseppe, nice to see you. Hi, Giuseppe. Okay. So we recall that this is the category Edge Tech, okay, from 10 to 10:30, and then we do have some Q&A at the end. So there are people online, but there are also people physically. So we're going to be moving through. These are the agenda. These are the people who will be pitching. So you see here, we do have quite a few of you, which is wonderful. And we've also seen that you have different length of slides. But if you look at Goldbull, she will be our timer master today. And so when you do hear the bell, we do encourage you, please, to wrap up so we can move on, so we give, ample visibility for everyone here. Shall we get started? Do we have any questions we want to pose before? So welcome also to those of you online, okay? And someone mentioned before, if we can try and collect any questions that are coming in online so we can address them back. Okay, that would be useful. Okay, super. So first up, Giuseppe Garcia, Director of Silicon and co-founder, Axelera AI, simplifying and accelerating AI at the edge. If you're here, you can actually move your slides yourself. Okay, I'll do the ones online. Over to you, Giuseppe. You have 5 minutes.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Well, short break. Trying to find my slides.
No. Okay.
Would be nice. Oh, I need to go the other way around.
Go the other way.
It's
There you are.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay. First of all, what we do acceleration for edge device in the field of artificial intelligence. Our focus is on computer vision. We were born 2.5 years ago. Was a group of 18 people, co-founders, coming from mainly 3 different groups. One was Intel group. The other was the other 2 groups were related to in-memory computing. One was coming from IMEC, Leuven, and the other was coming from Zurich, IBM Zurich. In the meantime, in 2.5 years, we have been growing quite a lot. I think right now we are even more than under 40 people, more than 50 PhD. We are totally European and completely sparse within Europe. The headquarters is in Eindhoven. We have offices in Zurich, Leuven, Bristol, Italy. And we also start from a product perspective. Let's say we went for operation. We started operation in August in US. What is the basic of our technology? Basically 2 things: digital in-memory computing and RISC-V. Digital in-memory computing allow you to have high vectorization in your operation, and at the same time is efficient in terms of power, because you are storing statically or quasi-statically your weights inside a memory computing. I heard something. And at the same time, you are performing convolution operation inside, on site, without memory communication exchange. We are shipping our first product. Is ultra efficient and cost effective. Is up to peak performance 214 TOPS. It's not written, but 214 TOPS peak performance also correspond to 15 watts power consumption. We did 3 tape outs. One was a testing chip. The second was already a complete system, was shipped to customer for early adoption program. And 2 weeks ago, we did a 3rd tape out, which is intended to be mass production. We have a number of competencies. They go from digital in-memory computing. We have also a set in analog in-memory computing, which is much more efficient solution, but that present other challenges related to noise. We have a lot of expertise in RISC-V cores, customization, vector processor, RISC-V core. We have the whole knowledge about pre and post processing, acceleration. All of this make Axelera unique. We are not doing only hardware. We are doing compiler, firmware, software on the top, such that the user can access deployment of our neural network through PyTorch and TensorFlow. So, sorry for the typo. The intention within this call is to push, is related to improve on power performance, power essentially. We want to optimize the implementation of our in-memory computer core technology. We want to study methodology to fine-grain power control, exploit multi-precision and sparsity. And this, okay, so I didn't need. So if you have any question or you want to know more, just approach me.
Giuseppe, you here all day?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Giuseppe, so give you a round of applause. And you kept the timing. Super. Next, wonderful. Super. Next up, let's see if we do have the presentation in. We should have online Anastasios Nanos, Nubis. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, wonderful. Great, you're with us. Okay, so you're up next for Unifying Execution Environments for the Cloud-Edge-IoT Continuum. No, this is Luca Roffa. Okay, super. Anastasios, can you hear us?
Yes.
Super.
Yes. Can you hear me?
You're on your 5-minute start now. Super.
Awesome.
Go.
Thanks very much. Can I? Where can I see my slides? Should I share my slides myself? Okay. So hi all. Thanks for attending. I would like to apologize for not being there, and for the tricky part of the presentation, because we have a lot of slides, and if we're not able to change them ourselves.
No, the idea is that I change them.
Yeah, so if you can go to the previous slide, please.
No, we're not seeing your slides at the moment. We're just seeing your face. Is it okay? Can we have the slides up?
I can see the slides actually, but
Anastasios, we. Yeah, if we click here, let's see if these. So going down. Can I move? No, okay. If we go down. Yeah, the ones after these. They should be up next. No. We'll come in. Please bear with us. We will get there.
yeah, it's tricky. Hybrid events are tricky. Would it be easier if I just shared my slides? Would that work?
Can Anastasia share the slides directly? Okay, try that, Anastasios, whilst we sort out the technical problems here. See if you can do that. Can you try and share your screen now?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
We can't at the moment, no. Hang on a second. But Nubis, I can see it now. Is this your screen? If we can, but
yes.
You're not centered, but we can see your slides, so that's already good.
So can you see them changing, or is it?
No, we can only see the intro, and it's not in full screen. But we do have your intro slide up. Could you move your cursor to the full screen, and we should show it again, because we were seeing your slides correctly. You have two screens, don't you? If you can put the other one on, which is the one. Perfect. You're on. Okay, let's go.
Awesome.
Go. Super.
Awesome. Thank
Right.
you so much. So we're a small company, a small SME from Greece. We're doing research in operating systems, in low-level systems development, in container runtimes and orchestration, in general, in system software. We are remote, fully remote, so we're almost 10, and we're based in Greece, in the UK, and Germany. So what we are working with is we are trying. We were people from the cloud era, so we know that the cloud has vast resources. They are mostly homogeneous, and they all the researchers and people have found a way to manage resources in the cloud. There are some challenges there, but they have managed to solve all the challenges related to the ones that we're trying to solve at the edge, and especially with IoT. So at the edge, we have found that the challenges essentially are how to deliver applications, how to manage multi-tenancy, running applications from multiple tenants on the same node, and how to use and expose hardware accelerators in a secure way in these edge devices. So things get a lot more complicated when we come to IoT, when we come to sensors, where there are no standards in terms of software components, even in terms of hardware, and there's no operating system, so you cannot do these smart things that you do with the system software and integrate that into the whole cloud-native ecosystem. So given that containers have already dominated the cloud, everyone uses containers. They are lightweight, they are portable, they are efficient, and they are scalable. However, they are not isolated. So what happens at the edge, and what happens with IoT? So we thought that it would be really efficient if we could provide software delivery applications with containers in IoT sensors or devices in low resource edge nodes. So our approach is to build a system where we could compile the necessary software, run all the workloads for these IoT devices, and support this framework with an execution system for the IoT devices through various levels of system software installed at edge nodes, and do that in a cloud-native way. So we've got OCI image standards, we've got OCI runtime standards, so we've got open standards, we've got the cloud-native ecosystem that supports us from the cloud and some parts from the edge, and do that in the IoT space. Of course, we could also use techniques like AI and ML to optimize the code so that users could just submit a small snippet of code, and this could be executed on any device in the whole continuum. So we've got...
Anastasios, can you wrap up? Can you give us your concluding statement, please? That's great.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
So we've got, let me just skip that. So we've got three software components that facilitate that. So we think that the cloud-native integration of embedded devices and their software components is essential for the wider adoption of the unification of management and to provide the software delivery validation that people want and providers want. So we have got three software components: the container runtime, the builder, and a hardware acceleration abstraction. That these are under development. They are developed as part of Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe programs, and they're open source, licensed with Apache 2. Please feel free to reach out using B2Match or any other way. Thanks very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Anastasios. A round of applause for Anastasios, please, who did manage to condense his 10 slides. Next up, we have Miklos Tomka. Miklos, do come up whilst we search for your slides. It's on Parsimoni, the European IoT Edge OS. Lovely to have you with. A round of applause, please, for Miklos. Thank you. Let's bear in mind, we do have these slides up, so they are available for you all after. Okay, over to you, Miklos. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we please go to the first slide?
We can move them ourselves, we hope. There you go. Look at
Perfect.
that. Right.
So we
Perfect.
just go.
Yes, that's the one.
Perfect. So good morning, everybody. My name is Miklos Tomka, and I represent Parsimoni. Parsimoni is a company that focuses on... My slide just went away.
Okay, yes, back now.
That focuses on developing software for critical infrastructure. Our focus is IoT Edge, and really the history of the company is we use European open source technology that was originally created by the University of Cambridge. And this technology was actually adopted by Docker. So there are millions of users using the core of our technology today to power security and efficiency for cloud platforms. Now, we as an open source company, we said, well, it's really good that this is super powerful in the cloud. It's proven, it's used by millions of people. But the real problem is with IoT Edge. With IoT Edge, we have some serious challenges. We have challenges related to cybersecurity. It's very well documented that there is significant number of hacks, significant number of issues to make sure that those ecosystems are secure. It's crucial. And also efficiency. We were talking about different container solutions for edge computing, for Meta OSs like Kubernetes and others. They are designed for the cloud, work very well. They're not very efficient for IoT Edge applications. So this is where our technology comes into place, and we are looking for partners to develop this together for Europe. We provide software solutions that are up to 50 times smaller than classic solutions, and we are using a secure by design approach, which is leveraging, first of all, a memory-safe programming language, which protects by design against 60 to 80% of all zero-day cyber attacks. And also we use unikernel technology that ensures that this application is super small and also secure. In the space sector, we already have some really good results. We have various projects going on. We are just launching a major project tomorrow where we design in partnership with Thales an IoT Edge platform for space AI applications. But we do not have partners or activities in all the other critical areas, medical, automotive, you name it, there are many. We are looking for partners to design it together. And the technology is, as I said, proven at the core, but it's not ready to go yet for those different other areas. Therefore, we are open for partnerships. I'm here all day. Please reach out. I'm looking forward to talking to you.
Perfect, Miklos. Round of applause. Thank you very much. Great. Next up, just as an underlining, so we're here for an info day, and we're interested in open in the future calls, right? But if you look at the presentations as well, there are some cool solutions being listed here. So what does that mean? So if you're successful or not in one of these bids going forward, that's great. If you're not, though, with EUCloudEdgeIoT, the CSA, we showcase and give visibility to those European excellent organizations that have cool things to show in this sector. So it's a win-win. So you're killing two birds with one stone today. Those of you online also take advantage of this opportunity. You have a call, that's great. Showing what you're doing and that we, the project, can showcase this for you is also an extremely good thing to do. If you want to know more about that, come to me, speak to Golbu, who is the project coordinator, or also members from the other Open Continuum project too. Thank you. Next up, we have Alberto Marti. Alberto, can you hear us and see us super? He's a VP of Open Source Innovation at OpenNebula Systems.
Morning,
Perfect.
everyone.
Right, morning. Okay, so we see you. We want you have slides, so we need to get those up. Whilst we do that, why don't you already start your pitch so we maximize timing? The presentation will be on a brief intro to OpenNebula. Off you go, Alberto. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Just to let you know, I can share my slides as well at any point. Yes, just let me know.
Then let's share. Let's get your. Why don't you share immediately, Alberto? Can you do that? And
yeah, continue.
Yep. Okay. We've got. Okay. Put it central. You're off skewed a second. We can't see it. Can move it to your left. Can you?
Not really. It's a second screen, so
it's the second
it should
screen.
Let me see. Try again.
Yeah, you were great. You were full screen a second ago, and then you've. That's it. Perfect. Go.
What about now?
Yep, it's
Fine.
wonderful.
Great.
Go, Alberto.
Okay, so thank you everyone. I hope you're enjoying the event and the weather in Brussels.
Definitely the weather.
I'm saying that from Barcelona. Okay, so as you said, Silvana, I mean, today for us is also an opportunity not just to introduce our expertise as a company, but mainly to offer to all of the participants in this event our open source technology. So for those of you who don't know OpenNebula Systems, we are the company behind OpenNebula, which is technology that's been around since 2008. We are a European company. We're based in the headquarters in Madrid with a number of offices in other countries. We produce OpenNebula and we support its open source community. You can see OpenNebula either as an open source alternative to VMware or as a European alternative to things like OpenStack, for instance. And that's the role we are very much playing in different initiatives and different projects. And as I mentioned in a second, including the future of the upcoming IPSAI on cloud infrastructure and services. We are also the company chairing the Cloud-Edge working group of the European Cloud Alliance. So for this specific call, how can you use OpenNebula? How are we inviting you to use our open source technology? You can see OpenNebula as the technology that helps you create an abstraction layer on top of the Cloud-Edge continuum. So we are a solution for managing, deploying, and provisioning infrastructure across both private and public cloud and edge infrastructure resources. So you can offer your devices and your applications this abstraction layer on top of this heterogeneous environment that we are heading to. We do that through basically incorporating other open source tools, Terraform, Ansible, to managing all these connections with the cloud providers. We are vendor agnostic in that sense, or vendor neutral, and application agnostic. So we don't get into the relationship between the user and the cloud provider. We just help them to aggregate this infrastructure wherever it is. And then we ensure that the connections with these providers are stable, and these resources can be used on demand, or at any point can be segregated and just freed up. So on top of that is where we see a powerful solution for those IoT pilots that want to deploy specific applications based on Kubernetes deployments. We can manage dynamically the infrastructure for a multi-tenant Kubernetes deployment, for instance, but also with other container virtualization technologies that you might want to use at the edge or on your IoT devices. So all that complexity of managing and scaling up automatically resources and infrastructure for a number of applications, independently of what they do, that we can manage. And obviously, from an innovation and research perspective, one of our key priorities, for instance, is, and we're doing that through projects that we coordinate directly, as the Sovereign Edge Cognite. That's a cognitive cloud topic. And we are incorporating also this kind of AI-enabled orchestration methods that we need to be able to offer this orchestration through potentially dozens of providers and thousands of edge nodes. So that intelligence we already incorporate into the product. So we're looking forward to, through this pilot, increase that potential and that support to IoT devices and applications. And also because of the role we're playing, or we're hopefully going to play within the IPSAI as a core of what we call the open source meta orchestration platform. We're very much looking for anyone submitting proposals to this call to consider OpenNebula as an important tool there for also connecting with a larger industrial ecosystem in the future. So I'll be around. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Alberto. Round of applause. Good. Okay. As we said, your slides will be available, so people can access that. Do check the beta match, see if anyone wants to speak to you also today in person. That's great. Thank you very much. Next up, we have in person, I'd like to call up Karolina Bokaka, please, from the Systems Research Institute, Polish Academy of Sciences. and you are a researcher at SRIPAS. There you go. You can put that through. Super. Over to you. Thank you.
Exactly. So
Carolina.
good morning. Sorry for interrupting.
No. I just wanted to say your name.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. My name is Karolina Bogacka, and today I will be presenting my institution, the Polish Academy of Sciences, and our vision for this call. So first, a couple of words about our institution. We are mainly knowledgeable about applied AI, in particular federated learning, although also in Cloud-Edge-IoT systems. So much so that in federated learning, we have prepared two real-life systems, two real-life use cases with federated learning systems for the Assist IoT project. We are also experienced, sorry so much. We are also experienced in the Horizon Europe projects. We have experience both with being the technical coordinator of two of them, both of which are still ongoing, so Assist IoT and aerOS, and being the work package leader of InterIoT. We are potentially positioning ourselves as a technical work package leader, although this is, of course, still up for discussion. So let's move on to our approach, which is the interesting part. We would like to contribute to all three phases of the distributed machine learning workflow that we see. So first, we would like to add a little bit to the design phase by developing open data preprocessing standards that would be compatible with approaches such as, for example, StreamML, and would be as extensible as possible. Then we would like to add a little bit to the training phase by betting on the multi-paradigm orchestration. So we would like to use Kubernetes to allow the system to easily shift between centralized machine learning to federated learning, depending on the amount of clients that we have and other factors of the system. Finally, we would like to add a little bit to the operations phase through developing distributed CI/CD pipelines that would ideally allow for easy automation of the existing workflow, so that we can please our industry partners and make their life a little bit easier. Finally, we would like to add a little bit to the explainability of the whole solution, so as to leverage the fact that we are using distributed ML. We would like to monitor the data quality of the process and make a better, more explainable final solution. Who are we looking for? We are looking mainly for pilot partners with large AI use cases, so as to flex our muscles of that approach. But we are also interested in potential industry partners and academic partners as well. So to sum it all up, we are interested in 3 points. That is bringing that multi-paradigmness to our solution, then beefing up the automation, and finally focusing on making the whole approach as robust and reusable as possible. When it comes to our institution, the most important part is that we are already experienced in the Horizon Europe projects, and that we are also experienced in the applied part of AI. So we know how to move from the research phase to the real-life use case phase, and we have some expertise to prove it with those two federated learning systems. Of course, we are looking for partners. I'll be here to chat with any one of you. For all of those who are remote, you can contact me on the B2Match app or write to that email address. Thank you for your attention.
Lovely. Well done. You stayed within 5 minutes. That's great. Thank you. So Carolina will be around today. I have Dolores up, the name of my sister. Dolores, can you hear us? Hey,
Yes,
good morning.
can you hear me?
We can, loud and clear. Do you have slides?
Perfect.
Great.
I
So-
do. Do you want me to share them myself?
Yes, that would be super. If you could do that, that would be good.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do that. Whilst you're doing that, I'll introduce you're the European Program Strategy Lead for I2CAT, and that should be coming in. Oh, that's off as well. Yes.
Okay, let me. Seems if I stop and share again, maybe it works. It worked for Alberto, so let's see.
If you click under the green button, the tick, we should be able to get you full screen. You're in. Okay, over to you, Dolores. Thank you.
Are we? Okay, perfect. So good morning, everyone, and thank you to the organization for giving us the opportunity to present our pitch today. My name is Dolores Melgar Freire, and I am the European Strategy Lead at I2CAT. I2CAT is a research and innovation center based in Barcelona. We are specialized in advanced digital and telecommunication technologies, and as you can see, We have a strong track record not only in Horizon Europe and Pillar 2, but also in Smart Network Services joint undertaking and other European programs. So there you go. So we see this call as an opportunity to scale up our ongoing collaboration with AFISA. AFISA is a Spanish innovation company leading mobility and smart city sectors, and known by their Cloud-Edge platform designed to address different urban mobility needs. We have a fruitful history together in projects such as 60 Twin Road and Safe B2X, in addition to our individual expertise for training projects such as Pratexo and Cognit. So with this purpose of scaling up our deployments, we propose a connected and automated mobility use case in a real environment. We will implement a vehicular digital twin distributed on the edge cloud, acquiring data from connected vehicles, roadside sensors, and video cameras for data twin traffic and mobility management and prediction of hazardous traffic situations for collision avoidance and vulnerable road users' protections. We will also use multi-connectivity telematics control units and roadside units for V2X, sensors, and cameras, as I was saying, for detection, tracking, and trajectory prediction of road users in mixed traffic scenarios. And we will ensure that the data transmission between different stakeholders is secure and it can be trustworthy through the value chain through data spaces solutions. And also we have AFISA's facilities in Granada, and potentially also we can deploy this technology in interurban roads as we have been doing in the past. And finally, as you already know, well, this digital twin technology, cooperative systems, and low latency prediction models is key for the next generation intelligent transport system. And to do this, we will use, as the call indicates, cloud technology and tools for decentralized intelligence, for computing, for edge cloud optimization, for things such as optimized task allocation, energy efficiency, and data management and caching. We will provide end-to-end data security measures and orchestrated cloud access security for IoT devices. And we will enhance these security measures by incorporating behavior analysis for risk-based decision-making. We have already deployed the smart industrial IoT solutions, integrating collaborative awareness for determining vehicles and robots' position and predicting users' behaviors. And we have the experience of the Mobility Hub and OpenEdge platform for the deployment of smart mobility applications at the edge that is already implemented in multiple cities. We will bring to the table, as I was saying, our experience in performing evaluation of the use case and implementing these technical solutions, for instance, through our network API tool. And in terms of next steps, we are exploring the transversal opportunities for these technologies to apply our experience in digital twins, smart sensors, and connected vehicles and edge technologies in other industrial environments, building on former experience we already have, while we find the right consortium with complementary capabilities so we can participate with this mobility use case I was explaining. So if you think this fits your idea for this call, please get in touch. Thank you.
Brilliant, Dolores. Round of applause. Thank you very much. As we said, our slides will be up. Okay, and before our Q&A and coffee, we have our last in-person, Ignacio Lacal. Are you here? Great. Ignacio, could you come up? Ubeda, aerOS Open Calls Coordinator from the Universitat Politécnica de Valencia. You can push forward your slides there. We will, yes.
Good.
Go. Thank you, Ignacio.
So, good morning, everybody. Thanks for inviting us being here. I hope that most of you know me, or if not, I hope that you will know me after this session. So, I come from Universitat Politécnica de Valencia, which is a technical university at the southeast of Spain. We are actually small, our department. We come from the communications department. We're around 20 researchers. But although little, we have a very nice background and track record of coordinating projects that come from this direct unit. So we have, let's say, the main claim that we have today, and I will not be in details of what we do, is that we have witnessed how things have evolved in terms of the 2014 IoT calls, then the next generation IoT, now the Meta operating system. So basically we are now coordinating this project under the Meta OS call from 2021, aerOS, in which we are creating, actually, it will last 2025, a set of technologies that conform our Meta operating system, which is aimed at solving the challenges of the heterogeneity of the underlying resources. And as Rolf mentioned, this is the next step forward is to bring this to the industry and to actual use cases that will leverage the technology that we are doing. So basically what we aim at doing here together is trying to come with bringing the different open source solutions that we have developed, us with the rest of partners that have been part of our trial here, and try to bring us to the next level. So trying to go to specific pilots there. We have already solid open source repositories you can check. We have also great ideas in order to come from the research low TRL results that we have had until the next step of large TRL, large impact. So it's true we are a university, but we also have a good track record in innovation actions. We believe that we are strong and solid in what we can offer. I will be around for all today, and you have all my contact there. And if you're interested in what we do technically, we are basically very deep into what the colleagues of Open Continuum and Unlock CI are organizing towards standardizing the continuum architecture. So we will for sure be very sticking to what we are delivering there. So yeah, that's it. I prefer to be short. I will be here for your questions.
Brilliant, Ignacio. Round of applause. Thank you. And that finishes our pitches, which is great. We do have 5 minutes left before we have a coffee, where we do then come back at 11 to start back with additional pitches. I'd like to pose a question to Rolf, so I'd like to invite Rolf back to the front of the podium just before we wrap up. And we've seen. Oh, it's me making the crackly noise, by the way. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, also for the benefit online, it's more of a curiosity question, Rolf. So hearing these pitches, the majority or a lot are saying, so I coordinate this, we have this experience in the previous projects, which is brilliant. My question is, what does the European Commission think when they receive proposals which make a direct reference to clearly past projects? I know there's a part of the proposals that we would write. Who do you synergize with? But is there a take where you think you see a continuity and you're pleased because you show the investment's been spent well? I'm probably asking a rhetorical question, but I think I'd like to hear your take on when you see something that's started in the past and genuinely can evolve into something more innovative going forward. So just your take on that. For the participants, it's nice for them to hear what your thoughts are.
I think it's always, recurring questions also from evaluators later on. But definitely legally, there's no continuity. I think each proposal will be treated separately and independently of the past. What we see is on continuity that some projects really, make an effort in order to work on research and innovation, increase the ecosystem. By the way, also the MetaOS project had open calls, particularly for SMEs and startups, to increase the ecosystem and have a continuous effort to talk to industry and look for new applications. Clearly said, at the moment, we have research and innovation projects which have use cases in these domains, which I also mentioned. But these are use cases. It's a far away, from industrial uptake. And if you talk to industry who really want to use it, I think there's still a gap which we have to bridge. So I think, and then, it depends on the coordinator, it depends on the consortium partners, whether they are able to communicate their message, their achievements in a packaged way to industry that they see the business and the interest in that. Also, I want to say is that we started that endeavor. So, looking for Cloud-Edge-IoT, edge computing as a new paradigm. It was very literally, there was no reference. I think I made a research on the web. I found a few, I think it was Linux Foundation with the first sort of definition or the need for a platform approach. 5, 6 references. Later on, if you make a search now, we get hundreds or thousands. And you see also industry has made some first steps already, either in public, where they got sort of an innovation prize. I think BMW got an innovation prize for open app store in manufacturing, for instance. Or they started, behind the scenes, creating sort of a first network in sort of showcasing what could be the economic benefit for an industrial sector. So that has started. I think we see in practice, there are first implementations, industrial applications. there's no clear kill application. That's not yet there. It's getting much more difficult if you cross different domains, like I've shown from the home domain, which is quite complex, or from energy, which is cost cutting. So I think the game is on. It's open. I think there's no clear path for success. Definitely, you need a good story.
Yeah.
You need. I think the industrial commitment should be evident.
Yeah.
And then you have to make the case for the innovation. So, but in that order.
Perfect. Good story. Industry, case for innovation. Okay, so remember that in your proposals. Thank you, Rolf. I do have two questions, and Golbor's going to settle them now.
Because we have two questions.
Okay.
Yeah, we have two questions in Slido. So one is from Nacho. Maximum amount for FSTP is 20% of the claimed amount to the commission. Is it recommended to adjust to the max, or should reduced amounts be accepted as well?
I think the FSTP is not a must. I think it could be an added value. But if you propose an FSTP, you clearly have to demonstrate what would be the added value to your project. Generally speaking, FSTP will be evaluated under impact because it could be a tool to increase the uptake in terms of going to new application domains, or it could be a tool to validate a proposed openness of interfaces or standards, or a tool, to have a wider uptake of open source software. So it's very close to the impact, and it should clearly describe not just, you want to use FSTP, but also what is the purpose, what is here the strategic implications of the FSTP, and the amount can be chosen by you. So we don't enforce. I think if you choose 20% FSTP, full amount, and you don't have a clear story behind it, don't do it. So there's no obligation to go to the maximum amount. Yeah.
I think Rolf already answered, so I think we're fine.
Okay. Any other questions in the audience here? Anyone else online with any questions? No? Okay. So with that, let's give ourselves a round of applause. Thank you for your commitment and attention. Thank you. Let's have a short break. Now, as we said, coffee is served downstairs, and then come back sharp for 11 a.m. Also, for those of you online, go and have a stretch legs and tea, and back at 11. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome back in person and online. We hope you had a bit of a stretch legs and a coffee. This second session is on the category is application, okay? And we have, again, a set of pitches before we conclude at 11:55 for some Q&A. So let's get started straight away, because we will encounter perhaps some glitches along the way, which is fine. We have, first up, I'd like to introduce Laurent Schmidt, who's the president of Digital for Grids. So over to you, Laurent. You have the Edge DR Analytics. Let's see if your slides are here. Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay. Over to you, Laurent. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for letting us pitching this morning. So we want to talk about coordination of distributed energy resource with markets and how edge computing can deal with this. So what we've been doing on our side is we have developed a new generation of multi-sided platform, which right now mostly compute data in the cloud. And we have established a few partnerships with edge device manufacturers, such as Decibel, which provides home energy station, integrating bidirectional charging, PV and storage, as well as Clem, which is an EV sharing company in Paris, which kind of covers, I would say, a large portfolio of car charging. So these are existing platform, working, operational, but the big problem we have is most of the data processing is run in the cloud, and the IoT and the edge is mostly transferring data. We are also heavily implied into several European funded projects, which deals with the issue of flexibility markets, and how future data space will enable basically flexibility transactions by consumer into energy markets. We've been contributing to a few white papers, especially with the AIoTI, trying to analyze what are the key edge computing use cases. And we really see the DR management observability in grids is the really key topic. So a DR is a distributed energy resources. It's an EV, heat pumps, and so on, for those who don't know the term. And also, obviously, it comes with issues related to cybersecurity, AI, and all analytics which we can develop on the top of this. And this is to be connected with control room architecture of grid operators, which are, for the moment, rather closed and rather legacy systems. So really what we want is to test, I would say, our application into new federated cloud environments. So that's basically connecting the edge of the grids, which is composed of car charging equipment mostly, car charging in streets or car charging in homes with decibel, and enabling basically new local energy management and energy balancing at consumer level or into EV charging points. And so we are definitely very interested into the piloting of this application into this new architecture, testing related issues related to grid resiliency, vehicle to home, vehicle to building, bidirectional charging, integrating solar PV, enabling real-time flexibility on transaction with energy markets. So we are very active into cross-domain standardization using IEC standards, which are largely used into the energy domain. And one of the key questions is how to basically downscale these standards down to the edge level and make use of them into the edge environment. So what we are not interested into being and leading a consortium, that's too complex for us, but really joining a larger scale consortium. And we have really expertise into apps used in the energy space. So this slide is just showing all the type of hubs which you kind of combine from the top ends on the grid operator side down to the edge computing in front of the car when you charge or you integrate these devices together. These building blocks are being built while we speak through the Horizon project, so we can bring a lot of deep domain expertise from the energy space. I think this is redundant. So really what we want is, in terms of project benefits for us, is to accelerate renewable and EV charging in grids which are highly congested today. So is really fitting the purpose of Repower EU. Optimize grid reinforcement needs, minimize delays, enable consumer participation in markets. So these are really the app objectives which we have. And we really want to take advantage of new edge platform and all the work being done into energy data space, where we are very active in a data space called EDI, which builds for residential home energy right now. And of course, we are very interested into investigating benefits of hybrid cloud architecture, both from a cost and carbon footprint point of view. For those who don't know, the transaction which we talk in terms of flexibility are transactions in value which are in the range of €0.5 to 2-3 euros. So we need to be extremely careful that the benefit of the transaction to the consumer is not totally eaten by the cost of the cloud, without talking obviously also of the carbon footprint. So that's in a nutshell what we are interested to do. So if you are interested in this concept, or if you are building a similar consortium right now, just reach out to us. So we are for the moment a group of few mostly French company. We work with an academic partner in France called Sorbonne University in Paris. Is one of the largest computer labs in France. They have around 100 researchers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laurent. Thank you. Right, next up, we have Christian Adelhart from Energinet. Christian, super. Driving towards grid balance. Thank you. Floor's yours.
Thank you. So, yes, my name is Christian, and I come from the Danish TSO called Energinet. So actually, my goal to change the world is mostly the same as Laurent's goal, to have a lot of flexibility in the electricity system. As a digital business developer, we have been looking a lot into EVs coming into the grids. Especially in Denmark, we're going to have a lot of them in a few years. And we see a huge need for data to integrate these EVs into the grids. We are not alone about that. I just took a slide of who else is saying almost the same thing. Someone needs to look into digital infrastructures, digital systems around these EVs that is coming into our electrical grids, because there's a lot of consumption coming from them. As a business developer, what I do mostly is to look into how does the business run around these IoT devices. Let's say the car could be an IoT device or the charge point could be an IoT device. And what we're seeing is actually quite a complex picture at the moment. It is very complex to be a consumer in this picture. It is very, it can be risky to do business in this picture because there's a lot of lock-in, there's a lot of changing around this this area. Of course, it's a very emerging market. Yes, so what we are as a Danish TSO and innovators looking into this area, we are actually calling for ideas for a new system design around these EVs. And for us, it's both vehicle to grid, but also just grid to vehicle, or let's say smart charging that needs really to be enabled on a new scale here. And looking into how it works today, we can say that around the charge point, mostly there is a charge point operator on the top of them, and there's a lot of arbitrary service providers working towards the charge point operators. This is what we see. Of course, this is changing all the time, but what we are suggesting is that we need to introduce an abstraction layer on top of these IoT devices. And I've just put a yellow ring around the charge points and electrical vehicles because it's important to note that both of them could actually be this IoT device from where we need the flexibility to go into the grid. The IoT devices that we need to have a very clear communication with around the grid operators. So our idea of a new architecture, our idea of a new system design, which we have written a white paper on top of, is that we need someone to look into building an authentication and delegation service, the ADS. And what it actually just should be capable of is to identify IoT devices and identify the owners of the IoT device, saying that the owner should be in control of what kind of service this IoT device should run on. And what we want to create here, the goals is listed here, and I think everyone is going to get the slides afterwards, right? Or otherwise, you can just download it on the business platform. So, of course, we're looking into all the standards around the EV charging, both in the cars and around the charge points. Those are still developing, but this is what you really need to look into to work around this. We want to enable data sharing across sectors. So this is not just an energy sector problem. This is also a mobility sector problem because the cars are in the mobility sector. And in the middle, probably the most important part, we want the owners to be in control of their devices. So if you own an IoT device, you should be the one who is in control of what kind of service you want to couple or bundle your device with. Equal rights for service providers is what we hope to create with this kind of architecture, because then a lot of new startups could scale their businesses on top of the devices, creating business both in the mobility sector and the energy sector. And of course, then we're talking into some kind of unbundling of hardware and software services, making sure that you're actually able to choose any kind of software service on top of your hardware, if possible. Yeah. I think that's it. It's important for me to say also, we are a Danish TSO, so we are a state-owned company. We don't see ourselves as the driver in a consortium, but we would very much like to cooperate in a consortium searching for funds. And it is going to be both me, Christian, and my colleague Jacob, who's also with us online, I know, who's going to be the contact persons here. Yes?
Christian, that's great. I think, you've been quite exhaustive there. Slides are available. I see you've mentioned more than one of the calls too. You're not interested in being a coordinator?
No.
No, okay. But lots of added value that you can bring to the consortium. Thank you, Christian. Next up, let's check. Round of applause, please. Mats Olsen. Mats, welcome. General Manager. You have Pratexo, edge-to-cloud solution acceleration platform
Thank
required to electrify the world.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my name is Mats Olsen. I'm the General Manager for Pratexo. We are present in Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Poland, Germany, and as of this week, also in Portugal. We also have activities in the USA. So even though we are a startup and a fairly small company, we have our feet in multiple places. While we will talk more about the edge-to-cloud acceleration platform, but on top of that, we've also developed solutions specifically in the electrification area. Let me start by saying Pratexo in Latin, if you add the letter E, stands for edge. So that's why we have the company name Pratexo. So let's look at what we are doing. We are developing and have developed an edge-to-cloud solution acceleration platform. We have some 15 years experience of open source. So we know what open source components work well together in a 7/24 environment. We also have developed solutions where we can implement something called microclouds. That is where you have multiple, let's say, edge nodes running locally with micro K8s, Kubernetes, and we form resilient, reliable clouds. We do applications where you may not even have internet access for legal reasons, the electric grid in Norway. So we have developed solutions where we can operate without being open to the internet. The platform we have, obviously, by the way, we're a software company. We're agnostic when it comes to sensors, hardware, all that, even though sometimes we do supply hardware because the customer wants a one-stop shopping. So different kind of sensors, different communication methods, wireless, wired, edge hardware. Again, we're agnostic. So it can be Intel-based platforms, it can be ARM-based, all the way to small footprint devices like Raspberry Pis. Operating systems, Ubuntu, Red Hat. Quite often we use Ubuntu, but we're not bound to that. Now, then we come to the Pratexo core, including the Pratexo Studio. What we've developed is basically an electronic whiteboard capturing some 15 years of intellectual know-how on how you can accelerate the design of complex architectures. For those of you in the software industry, you know that architecture is not trivial and it's very easy to make mistakes. So we are trying to shorten that process and reduce the complexity by helping companies designing architectures. Once we have designed an architecture, we push a button and we deploy it in the cloud to simulate. We've simulated, let's say, sensor data, and then we send it to the edge devices once we're happy with that architecture and the simulation. On top of that, we have developed some solution frameworks. Given that we can develop this fairly fast, and we are still a small company, we have developed solutions for the integrated grid monitoring and analytics deployed, for example, in transformer stations. We've developed a distributed EV charging management system, helping to accelerate the rollout of electric vehicle recharging, where you have a challenge with the grid. It takes time to expand the grid. So what we have built together with EV charging companies is solutions with high-speed DC recharging, let's say 150 kilowatts, and complemented that with 300 kilowatt hours batteries, soon to be expanded with even more batteries, meaning that we can install a container at an existing petrol station and within 3 hours offer high-speed DC recharging without having to wait for the grid to be rebuilt, because the time frame for that may be 5 years out. Power balancing, very much in the Nordic markets, actually Denmark also, we're involved in discussions there. We have developed solutions both for FFR and FCR, fast frequency response. The requirement is 0.7 seconds, but since we're developing this as a global solution, in other parts of the world you need 200 milliseconds response time, and we meet that requirement. We've also developed a root cause analysis expert system for large-scale electrical installations and manufacturing operations. That's where you can inject rules from domain experts without being programmers. And you can take the knowledge of a large industrial company, they can isolate their IP and inject those rules. Very handy approach in case you don't have labeled data and not yet can start effectively with ML and AI. So this is a tool to help bring up uptime and also predict failures. Okay, so I think that's about, third-party solutions, custom solutions, typically containers in the software world. So this is a horizontal platform, and this is what many customers are looking for. They don't want the vertical IoT applications, sensor, all the way up to dashboard. They want to have one platform with multiple vendors incorporating their solutions. So that's part of the architecture we're offering. Now, hybrid edge to cloud computing. Now, where should functionality reside? Well, there is not one standard simple answer there. Functionality may move over time. You may have more functionality up in the central cloud, or you may have more down at the very edge. We have examples where we have architected solutions with up to 7 layers with regional microclouds. You may have a cloud on a ship, which is working offline when you're out on the sea. When you get into the harbor, you can have cheaper communication and upload more data. And again, we're looking forward to participate with EU. We have no experience, but we're looking forward to...
I was going to ask you that, actually.
Yes. So we are very happy to look into that. And we would like to expand our capabilities. So we're obviously a startup. We have limited resources.
Yeah.
And therefore, we look forward to work with larger scale bodies.
Of course.
Yes. So thank you so much.
That's nice. That's wonderful. I love hearing that. Great. Round of applause, please. Thank you. Super. Okay. Right. Next up, could we have Wilbert Princeton? Lovely. Well, I do know we have your slides as well, Wilbert. Yeah, let's check that. No, I can't move. Yes, I can move them. All right, there you go.
Let's see if I can move them as well. Yes, I can. Okay, thank you for your hospitality, inviting me. I will present 2 use cases, innovative use cases in energy grids that we're looking into in the Netherlands. And I would like to look for interest in participating, maybe for people with similar use cases, or also with technology that could support them.
If you could just introduce yourself, I forgot to do
Yes,
that.
yes. Right, my name is Wilbert Prinsen. I'm responsible for what we do in the energy market at Technolution. Technolution is, well, just on the edge of being an SME, almost too large. So we're 250 people in Gouda, the Netherlands, passionate about electronics and software. And with that, we can build chains for our end customers in the markets of energy, mobility, smart cities, and public security. So having electronics and software technical people on board, we don't have a preference for edge or cloud. So the continuum of those technologies and balancing that for the optimal chain is something we have at our core. And also horizontal architectures to make them open and scalable are very important for us. So we try to remain quite innovative. So 10 to 15% of our revenue we invest in R&D. And that's possible because we're not externally owned. We are owned by ourselves as employees. So we want to invest in having fun, innovative work in the future as well. So in terms of markets, like I said, mobility and infrastructure, public safety and security, and high-tech industry, I'm focusing on energy and grids, where we have a daughter in grid digital twins, face-to-face, is a market leader in the Netherlands, doing data analytics and AI on grids. We do lots of work for DSOs and TSOs on asset management and on their smart metering. And we do increasingly work for energy operations at customer sites. So I have two use cases. One use case that we're looking into now with DSOs is how can we open up the substation? Like I think Laurent Schmidt said earlier, that they tend to have quite legacy solutions, quite closed. You see them here on the top left, with a station protection and control system and a central control room that is really focused on protection and control. But there's lots of opportunities of gathering much more data and doing smart analytics with them. You can see here on the right side of this slide that with an opening the sensors, you see on the bottom left, the blue ones, that we're developing for a customer of us, that provides open data with this data in 60 kilohertz supply. What can you do with that besides just protecting the system? Well, lots of stuff. You can monitor power quality, you can monitor the assets, you can fastly analyze faults and predict where they're going to happen. You can also predict thermal congestion, which is a large issue, and we can add to the existing legacy systems with an open solution. So we're very much interested in bringing this further with industry. Another case that we're very much interested in to explore with you is the next-gen smart meters. The Dutch DSOs have found that their current life cycle or lifetime of the current smart meters has finished because of communications. The old modems are end of life. And to prevent that from happening in the future, that you have to ring 8 million households' doors again, they're proposing a modular concept in terms of hardware. So remaining the sensors at site and then being able to switch the processing and the communications model. You see it in this slide. Adding to that, so this is a hardware modularity, we proposed make also the software modular. So introduce a gateway, and from that gateway you can run all kinds of apps. And if you look at it from a really federated data architecture, keep all the data on site and keep the customer in control of that data. So that's something that we prototyped with the TU Delft and with Stedin, regional DSO. And it's a little small to see here, but what you can see is that in a lab setting with 7 households, we made an app store like customers are used to on their mobile phones that allows them to switch on apps on their local smart meter. And all these kinds of apps have use cases for DSOs, but also use cases for energy companies. And last but not least, use cases for the people there themselves to integrate with the smart homes. So on both use cases, I'm very much interested in both end customers looking at the same issues, as well as technology suppliers that have open platforms that could help us progress this. I'll be here today, so I'm looking forward to speaking to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. So this is interesting. I just wanted us to home in a second on the use cases. Yeah, for these proposals, it's always I always find what's a winning proposal. Not you might say I have a great solution, okay, and people don't know about it. And you need to ask yourself the so what question. So what that you have it. Is it really necessary? How am I going to change citizens or people working every day in their everyday working style? So you said you had use cases and you need there's an actual demand. So when we go back to the story that Rolf was talking about before, I need to have a good narrative, a good story. If I have my users who are desperate to want something, my narrative would automatically be written in a much more eloquent way because we need this. And so your story is obviously more authentic. So I think that's something we need to bear in mind. If you have use cases, it's not because you want to try and force fit a solution that you have to a use case. It's the other way round. You need the use case to say, I need this and I don't have this today. This doesn't exist in Europe. Please provide it for me. And that's something which an evaluator will clearly see more prominently when they go through the evaluation process, okay, rather than the other way round. So do bear that in mind. Thank you very much. Round of applause, please, for Wilbert. Next up, I have Udayanto Atmojo. Apologies if that's a bad pronunciation. From Aalto University. Is Udayanto here?
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Sorry. I thought you were in person. Great. That's what I was looking in. Great. Super. Can you hear and see us? Do you want to share slides directly, Udayanto?
Actually, I was under the assumption that someone from there.
We've got it. Don't worry. We're going to get those up now for you. Okay. So whilst we're waiting, do you want to introduce yourself and then you can start going? Over to you.
Okay. So I was also presenting on the previous session on the fundamentals of software engineering course.
And we have your slides up, which is great too. Okay.
Yes.
Super.
Yeah. Okay. So then I can also then start. So my name is Udayanto Atmojo. I'm a staff scientist and also research and development project manager at Aalto University. Aalto University, we are actually a research university located in the Helsinki in Finland. Originally, we are called Helsinki University of Technology, which had been around for almost a century. And then in 2010, it was merged with a couple of other local colleges. And then in 2010, it became Aalto University. So we have quite long track records of research and education. So we're not something new. So I'm actually from a research group of information technology in industrial automation. So that's my research group where I'm affiliated with. And this one page slide, this usually what I use to introduce what we do in our group. So we are actually quite multidisciplinary research group. In the center, you see different topics that we are which consist of our competences and skills and topics of interest. So we are actually have been working a lot in the operational technology or OT systems, especially in the automation software. We have also groups who are members who are working on application of artificial intelligence and machine learning, especially in the context of distributed control, distributed intelligence. We have also members who are working more on the formal methods and verification. Usually, this is basically an approach on how you can verify certain properties are actually in fact is the case or is there in the systems that you're looking at. We're also working on application of cloud and edge computing technology, and also we're working on how we can utilize advanced wireless connectivity such as 5G and so on. And we are applying these competences and topics in different application sectors. So, for example, on the domains of simulation and digital twinning of industrial systems, we are also applying, let's say, formal methods and verification to verify safety and security of critical infrastructure systems, such as nuclear power plant systems or smart grid system. We're also applying our distributed intelligence competences in the smart energy domain, intelligent energy automation, and also in the area of manufacturing sectors, where on the on the bottom right there, you see that's our industrial test lab called Aalto Factory of the Future, where we have these setups of conveyor systems, mobile robots, complete with industrial automation systems and also connectivity based on 5G. Next. Going next. That's the previous call. Yeah, so in this call of piloting emerging smart IoT platforms and decentralized intelligence, a couple of, let's say, possible contribution that we are looking to provide into a potential consortium is that we have been working on enabling interoperability of different standards. So one possible contribution from our end is that to provide a conversion, software-based converters between different standards, different data models, especially if you have use cases where these different standards of information models and data models are being used, and there's no consistency in that sense. So you need to be able to convert between one standard to another. And then, of course, on, let's say, decentralized intelligence part, we've been working a lot with swarm intelligence applied to distributed control context based on distributed automation based on industrial standards. So this is also one area of contribution. And then we will be able to offer a couple of testbed sites where we can apply these different approaches in this call. So we have, as I mentioned, this industrial task lab, which is more into manufacturing kind of areas. But we also have a pilot site which is more into smart energy, smart intelligent buildings. We have our campus buildings which have integrated district heating, renewable energy. It has it's also hosting local businesses from shop, restaurants, and also subway metro station. It has underground thermal storage as well. So this is a couple of our possible contribution if we are to participate in this call. And we believe that a couple of examples of this contribution fit very well to the text, which is I highlight in the red text there. So here, if there is a possibility to join existing consortium, or you're interested also to look into this call and you would like to discuss with us, so please feel free to reach me and we can discuss more. So thank you very much for the chance, and looking forward to discuss with all of you. Thank you.
Perfect. Round of applause. Thank you, Udayanto. Next up, we have Piyush Harsh. Perfect. CEO and Managing Director of Terraview. Thank you. Nice. Okay.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Piyush. I'm the CEO of a startup based out of Switzerland, Terraview GmbH, which means that if we do come into a consortium, there is no cost penalty of bringing us into the consortium. So at the start, I would like to tell that we are not interested in coordinating or leading a project proposal, but we are more interested in bringing a use case validator in the consortium. Who we are a startup. We are 4 years old company, started in May 2019. It used to be a globally distributed company with people working from US, China, all over the world. 2021, we launched our first software prototype called Terraview OS. We started the pilot with few customers in Spain. And much of 2022, we spent in consolidating the company in Switzerland. So we are now 12 full-time employees in Switzerland. And we have 2 products that we offer to our customers. So one of our products is Terraview OS. It's an all-in-one dashboard for farm management. And we basically bring in data from a lot of hardware manufacturers globally. We do offer self-adjusting yield estimation to our customers, which means that as the weather progresses week after week, our machine learning inference engine adapts the forecasted yield based on how the data our system sees. We offer traceability to our customer where they're able to track all inputs that they need in a season, phytosanitary products to hardware to seasonal labor force that they need to procure, etc. Many of these things are interlinked, so yield estimation has an input on on what they want to procure, etc. And then we have an advanced alerting engine, which people who know from the 80s, when people talked about artificial intelligence, it used to be basically a rule-based expert systems implementation back then. So we have our own expert system implementation where we essentially train the system based on how an agronomy expert would deal with the data that we handle. The latest solution that we have is AquaView. This is quite interesting. This came out of a global sustainability challenge run by Deloitte called Gravity Space and Sustainability Challenge. And there we were able to do a proof of concept whereby using satellite data, we were able to highly accurately do the relative soil moisture content analysis of any agriculture area of interest with accuracy of plus minus 1.5%. And now that we are doing the global validation of our solution, the accuracy is holding in different parts of the world as well. This is very interesting in the sense of it really gives the data to our customers to plan irrigation, to improve the water use efficiency in their crops, and not needing any hardware to do that, and which makes it quite appealing to most of the customers that we are talking about this right now. What we offer if we come into a consortium is we have 26,000 hectares of prime farmlands onboarded into a platform from all over the world. We have customers in Australia, in Spain, in France, in Mexico, Chile, US. We have 2.2 terabyte of census data right now. It's growing. We have weather data, map data, and these are all growing every single day. We have 65 terabyte of moisture content data in our system. The number 65 terabyte is because our internal cluster limitation is enforcing us to not go beyond. And we have only activated 2 countries for AquaView. The solution is live only for Switzerland and Czech Republic. We did a mental mind calculation where our analysis shows that if we need to open up AquaView for the entire country of Czech Republic, the data that we need to process would be upwards of 1 petabyte. So we have been in consortiums forming exercises in the past where we have seen companies targeting AI, ML, big data challenges, but they actually didn't have the big data to go with the proof of concept. We actually do have the big data. Our limitation is we have hard time storing 1 petabyte and higher data with our partner infrastructures. We have quite in-depth experience working with European projects. We have 1 Eurostar project, 1 6G SNS project, 4 Horizon Next projects which are ongoing in the company. So we are quite aware of all the processes which go into running a successful use case validation in the consortium. So what we are interested in getting out of a consortium. Our solution is cloud native. We have tons and tons of microservices. We absolutely hate it. So there was a trend in software engineering calls where there would be tools to automatically convert monolith into microservices. We would be very happy to see the reverse way. If you have a huge monolith, a huge microservices deployment, how do you convert it into a system which is more manageable? We have amazing challenges with MLOps, with quality control, model validation, and versioning. We are a small company, so it's still a challenge for us to manage these things. And this morning we heard somebody from European Commission saying that by 2030 it is predicted that there would be 10,000 edge devices in Europe. At least we have 5 of them in our company. And data sharing and security concern is one of the central theme that we are dealing in our company there. So that's all. My colleague Andy, he's a CTO, he's in the audience, and myself, we are available the rest of the day today for discussions or online. Please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers. I imagine you're both familiar with the Mission Soil program as well. Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you, Piyush. And he's today available for discussions, as he said. Now we have Luca Roffia, who's remote. Luca, can you hear us? Are you there?
Yeah.
Super. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Can you hear me? Can you see?
We can, but your slides are half. So click on the green tick shield top left so we can have that in full screen.
So let me try full screen in the green.
Not yet.
Green here.
Unless we also have your slides. We can share them directly. Should we do that, Luca? That's easier.
Yeah,
that's fine. We've got it. No, back again. Do what you did before. Right, stop there.
Okay,
Luca,
let's go.
Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. BEIA is a University of Bologna spin-off whose mission is to become a leader in the IoT interoperability. Thanks to the Milky Data Way, that is a platform.
Hang on, Luca. Sorry, we've gone back to your half screen. Let's stop sharing. We'll do that for you. Okay. Sorry to interrupt you. Let's just.
No. Sorry.
Don't worry. We'll put these up now. Just give us a second and we'll get that up. Okay, go. You're back on.
Okay, thank you so much. So yeah, first slide. VIME is a University of Bologna spin-off whose mission is to become leader in IoT interoperability thanks to Milky Dataway, which is a platform to support the development of IoT application, enabling a seamless integration of devices, service, and models. At the same time, we envision a near future where our solution would contribute to the UN SDGs, and I will provide a concrete example in a minute. Next, please. The Milky Dataway is based on open web standard. It adopts fair data principle, and it provides proactive knowledge management thanks to SEPA technology developed and maintained by VIME. SEPA won the startup competition at the Knowledge Graph conference this year, and the Milky Dataway adopt the Web of Things, which provide a set of standardized technology building blocks that help to simplify IoT application development by following the well-known and successful web paradigm. But let now present you a product we developed for the Agritech domain. Next, please. Water is life, and every single drop can make the difference. Next, please. Do you know that agriculture consumes more than 70% of all water, mainly for irrigation? And by 2050, the world population will reach 9 billion. With water use efficiency less than 50%, the challenge is to ensure adequate agricultural production while achieving maximum efficiency of irrigation water use. And climate change makes this even more challenging. Next slide, please. So VIME proposed AGORA, the Agritech Oracle, that is a solution to predict when and how much to irrigate by integrating the digital twin, weather observation and forecast in data coming from different sensors. AGORA has some unique feature. It can be applied at different scale from field to landscape level. It allows to integrate multi-vendor sensor and services, and its model can be extended to provide different output, such as, for example, the nitrogen emission. Users include the data science, farmers and consortium, and developers. Next, please. AGORA is being validated in partnership with 2 companies in 3 different pilots, covering different climate zones, different crop, and different soil types. AGORA is built on top of an open source agrohydrological model currently developed and used in operational environment in Italy by the Regional Environmental Agency of Emilia-Romagna. Next, please. We do believe AGORA can have a significant impact on saving water in agriculture. Our aim is to build an open solution supporting the integration of multi-vendor services and devices. Our plan is to reach TRL 8 by the end of 2024, integrating also a model for nitrogen emission, and to make AGORA compliant with the Spring standard. Next, please. VIME founders are the right mix of entrepreneur experience and academic skill, so we can benefit from long-term experience of our co-founder in industrial embedded system. I am Luca, CEO at VIME. I am assistant professor at the University of Bologna, and my research background is mainly in data interoperability, smart space, semantic web, and the Internet of Things. Cristiano, the CTO, is invited expert at the W3C Web of Things working group, while Alessandra, the COO, with her background in project management and open innovation, contribute to the definition of our business strategy. So together we build a magic team, a brilliant network of partners. We already received 3 cascade funding within the NGI initiative, and we acquire few but very valuable customers. So now it's your turn. Let's do something great together. If you want to know more, just click on the QR code. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you very much. Luca, so just going back a second, so you've received cascading funding, you said. Have you also been a beneficiary as a full partner in one of these projects in the past? Not yet?
No, just cascade funding, the NGI initiative. No, we've never been a beneficiary.
All right, so let's hope that you get in a winning consortia in this next round. All right, well, we wish you the very best.
Yeah,
Perfect. That's your aim. And your slides will be available. Thank you very much, Luca, for your time. And last up for this specific session, I'd like to call up Donald Morris, please, who's the CEO of RedSync. Thank you very much, Morris. The floor is yours.
Thanks very much. Thank you. My name is Donald. I'm with a company called RedSync. We're based in Ireland and in Spain. The reason I'm here is because there's a mention in the call text about healthcare, and I'm involved in healthcare. So we have a home hospital platform. There's coming 175,000 home hospital beds expected in Europe over the next 4 or 5 years. People who go into a home hospital environment will have patch sensors, maybe something on the chest that has an ECG, something under the arm that is measuring the temperature, blood pressure. So I'm proposing to put together a work package use case for pilots for healthcare. So really it's about seeking a mother project. I don't have the capacity to build a full project, but I do have the capacity to build a healthcare project, looking towards these 175,000 hospital beds, virtual hospital beds that will come at home, and to make pilots in several places across Europe with this. And so that's what we'd like to do, and we're looking to find another partner who would lead a consortium where we could build a pilot project for IoT for healthcare. So the way it might work is that we have what's called a green box. A green box has IoT sensors in it, small little patches that go on the chest to measure the ECG and other biometric signs. We have a platform for a home hospital, which is aggregating all of the data and making it available for an early warning score system. And then the patient is at the center and providing the whole ecosystem around the patient at home. That's the type of ecosystem it would be. So you'd have the general practitioner, the community care, the acute hospital, and the ambulance. And these all would have IoT devices for patients in a home hospital environment, looking to integrate 4G and 5G access, security, slicing, and all the different digital health applications that go around a home hospital environment. That's what it would look like, the 4 different sectors. So it's really about hospitals are looking to go towards integrated care, and that means moving away from acute hospitals and merging community and GP and home capabilities. And these are all the different benefits and value that it can accrue to the healthcare sector as they move from an acute environment of treating people and making home hospital beds available. There's about 2.3 million acute hospital beds in Europe, and based on the calculations, there's going to be about 175,000 home hospital beds in Europe over the next number of years. Thanks very much. Less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was done. Well done. Actually, I do have a quick question for you, if you don't mind. Sure. I'll exploit what we were talking about before. Yeah, I have a nice story, and I need people to tell me that I need this. I'd like to hear you say, right, you know, what you gave the facts of the 175,000 patients, etc. But my question is, this isn't what you're suggesting. Doesn't exist anywhere at the moment.
Well, in the UK, they've made about 10,000 home hospital beds.
Right.
About 2 weeks ago, the Irish government announced that they were going to invest 500 million into home hospital beds. In Ireland, that would be about 2,000 home hospital beds.
Good Lord.
So that's the trend. Other countries are following it. We're seeing pilot projects in lots of different places. And it's all going to benefit from IoT, because IoT is going to measure biomarkers. We have sensors that can go on the chest that will measure the ECG and send that back. It's a 3-lead ECG. It's not a 12-lead one like you'd see in an ambulance. It's a small 3-lead ECG that can go back in real time to the hospital. So that is happening now. But the problem is there's a massive amount of data being generated. And how is it all going to get organized? And that's what we see as the problem, as the issue. And that's why we're interested in working in this these type of projects.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Good, Donald.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Round of applause. Another one. I think you get another one.
Sorry, Donald.
Go, Bob. Another question for Donald. Okay, Donald, go.
No, it's not another question for
No.
Donald because I see that, Donald, you have asked a question. So I think it's a good opportunity if you want to ask the question from Rolf or other colleagues from the Commission, because I see that here in Slido we have a question from you about the indication to tourism, finance, and insurance sectors in the call.
So in the call text, it mentions multiple sectors, one of which is health, which is the one I'm interested in, but it also mentions tourism, insurance, and finance. I can understand maybe tourism would have sensors related to, hotels and stuff like that. But a lot of tourism is moving to apps, and then I don't really understand what the IoT is related to finance and insurance. So
Did you want to ask that question to the European Commission specifically?
I asked Ralph that over the coffee,
and so Ralph's answered you already.
He didn't answer yet.
He didn't. Right, let's let that go. I think we should move into our next session. Unless we have any other questions from people in the audience here or online. If not, we're now up to our speedy pitch. It's called speedy pitch. So it's quite self-explanatory. We have speedier pitches than before, which takes us up to just before lunch. And our category is IoT tech. And I'm going to call up immediately Harm-Jan Arendthorst. Are you here? Perfect. Who's the CIO of iLabs Technologies. And I'll pass the floor over to you. Thank you very much for coming along. You have 1 minute. No, I'm kidding. You have 3 minutes.
So, Harm-Jan Arendthorst, I'm from the Netherlands. 5 years ago, I started iLabs, now working with Ruben Arendthorst, my son. And we are based in Rotterdam Airport's Innovation Lab. So it's my honor to be here and looking forward to see how we can use today to work together and explore collaboration. So the focus of us today is on digital platforms for digital public infrastructure, and especially how we can create something that is more sovereign, European, and also independent of tech providers in the US. We have been working in many different fields of trust, and together with ETSI, we have been building the IoT security standards and semantic interoperability. I've been working with the European Commission after the CEMEC conference on semantic interoperability and a testbed for digital identity and biometrics for the travel use case. So travel is coming back in as a main topic today. We have been working with the data spaces organizations, IDSA, on a interoperability for identity for data spaces across many different use cases. So that can be energy, that can be smart city, can be mobility, etc. And now we like to focus on a new layer in the interoperability framework on identity and trust. So what we are looking for is a new consortium or an existing consortium that we can join with the focus on how can we create something as an identity layer for sharing data in a more trustworthy way. Enhancing the strategic objectives, but also creating a more citizen-driven ecosystem. And we use it as a positive energy district when it comes to energy use cases and a common, so the digital commons. So next step for us is to look at the scope and the consortium. So looking forward, and you can reach me today here or through the contacts.
Great, thank you, Harm. Is this your first time? Have you participated in the past? First time. Great. Thank you for that. Next up, then we have Joanna Walker. Welcome, Joanna.
Thank you.
Research Associate, King's College London. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Right.
Okay, yes, I'm Joanna Walker. I am here from King's College London, and I'm here with my colleague Eleanor Simpal, who's in the other room. And King's College London is rated 3rd in the UK for the impact of our research. We have extensive experience in leading and coordinating Horizon projects. We also have extensive experience with cascading funding, which is important in this call. As you can see, we have experience over human and AI interaction, all aspects of social AI, data publishing and use, the full data pipeline. And of course, we're working at the moment on 3 decentralized intelligence and supply chain projects. So in this particular subject, what I want to talk about is supply chain management issues that we can address with AI and knowledge graphs. So there is obviously an issue with availability of supply chain information across many systems, formats, locations, and participants. It makes it incredibly difficult to build a central insight platform for the entire ecosystem. These challenges then manifest themselves through forecasting errors, raw material shortages, port delays, and business losses from failure to meet customer demands in time and as per service standards. We envisage designing a central platform for managing supply chains by combining knowledge graphs with large language models, generative AI. Federated knowledge graphs at the faraway edges provides the ability for real-time acquisition of knowledge through the temporal dimension while retaining the provenance, privacy, and security of data sets. And LLMs will also be used for designing a dialogue-based decision support system with notifications, alerts, and decision choices for various users in a given ecosystem, which democratizes access to business intelligence. So as you can see, the benefits here from a central platform are visibility, transparency, and decision choices in the supply chain. It enables efficient and resilient management, both just in time and just in case. The impact for this would be industry agnostic, therefore allowing a wide range of applications. But from a sustainability point of view, we are particularly interested in working with some partners in the transport, retail, and agriculture sectors initially. That would address some of the environmental, social, and governance concerns. And we're very interested in partners who can help us identify and assess data sources. So thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you, Joanna. So you do have past experience, obviously,
do,
as
yes.
we've seen, and you're here all day. That's great.
We are, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Hans-Jörg, I think you're remote.
Yes,
can you hear us?
I'm online. Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. From Aarhus University.
Exactly.
Hans-Jörg, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So my name is Hans-Jörg Schulze. I'm an associate professor at the Department of Computer Science at Aarhus University, representing Aarhus University here at this workshop. The research areas I'm pitching are within data visualization, visual analytics, and visual data science. And Aarhus University, at least for Danish standards, is a rather large university, as you can see here. And we are consistently ranking, I guess, around the place 100, sometimes a little above, sometimes a little below worldwide. Next slide, please. Then my pitch idea and my research topic is progressive visual analytics. And the main idea behind progressive visual analytics is to provide a method to deal with large data, big data, if you want. So instead of computing and processing the full data set at once, what we do is we chop the data into little chunks and we process them one after another so that the visualization and the output comes up something like a progressive JPEG in your browser. Yeah. The beauty of this is this has a lot of different benefits. So one is that it reduces the analysis time, because in many cases, we don't even need the final result all the way to the last decimal, but it's good enough to have a rough result on which to base a decision. To do computational steering, so to adjust the computation while the analysis is running, It also adds a layer of explainability or trust to the analysis results, since we saw how it came about. It's not just there out of thin air. It has a built-in way of ensuring data minimalism, as we are only using as much data as is needed to get to a result of a certain quality and confidence, and no more. Can be used as a framework for visual analytics as a service by paying per data chunk. And it is even a resilience mechanism. So if some chunks fail, that does not mean that the overall computational result is invalid, but we just take the results from those chunks where it worked out and then collate them together into a final result. Next slide, please. So how can smart IoT platforms benefit from progressive data processing? Well, data chunks occur in a sense by design in fog computing and other decentralized IoT scenarios where we gather data from different sources. With progressive visual analytics, we have a very modern methodology to conduct data analysis in such distributed scenarios. It's so modern that the first roadmap and research agenda will come out early next year. And with the visual interactive way of doing this, you can actually combine the algorithmic smartness, all the AIs and whatnots on one side with the background knowledge and the decision power of the human expert on the other side. So you combine best of both worlds. In essence, I'm one of the leading experts on this method. There are maybe 2 or 3 dozen in the world. And I'm offering this expertise to any consortium who has a fundamental need for such a method and thinks that that could benefit the consortium and the project. Thank you very much.
So don't worry if you didn't manage to screenshot that. Thank you, Hans-Jörg. We appreciate the time with us this morning. Next up, we have Marina Bresciani. Hi, Marina, from BEIA Consult International. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. I am representing BEIA Belgian office. BEIA is a company that was born in 1991, but the Belgian office is just since 1 year. I am a project manager and I have a lot of experience in the territorial development, local development and national structural fund. And the Belgian office is able to coordinate projects if you need. The offices are also in Austria and Romania. And the expertise of BEIA is in research and development, performing SMEs with focus on time-critical artificial Internet of Things, and team with experience in research and development service innovation, artificial intelligence, blockchain, cloud, big data, quantum security in hardware, sensor, actuators, IoT, information technology, data analytics, back-end interface, front-end integration software, hardware, communication technologies, communication and dissemination, marketing and project management. We have over 8,000 commercial projects and over 100 research and development and innovation projects. BEIA is interested in a partnership or coordination of the cluster 01-03 and can give a specific contribution to the topic ICT, IoT development and integration, smart sensing system and devices, real-time telemetry and of environment and critical infrastructure. Experience from previous and ongoing projects are in the slides, and these are the names of the projects in which we are engaged on. We are looking for collaborations on smart IoT solutions aiming to integrate digital technologies and systems to optimize the production, enhance quality and improve efficiency of supply chains and overall business operation. BEIA brings a wealth of experience, having extensive expertise in commercial and research and developing innovation projects. We have experience in emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, quantum security, as we said. We offer our collaboration for partnership and also for coordination if needed. Thank you so much.
Lena, thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have Maisal Nadei, Associate Professor at the University of Essex. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. We should have the slides here. You should be able to push through with the arrow.
Right.
On the other one.
That's not mine.
No, let's go this way. Yeah. There you go.
There we go. Afternoon. So as said, my name is Maisal Nadei, and I'm an associate professor at the School of Computer Science, Electronic Engineering, University of Essex. I'm going
other way.
Okay.
Right.
That
Yes.
has a mind of its own.
Right.
So I'm going to
Yeah.
be focusing particularly on CSEE, ourselves, our department, together with the Institute of Analytics and Data Science. They bring novel expertise in that field. So just to give you an idea about ourselves, we are active members in AIoTI and 6GIA, particularly in working groups of energy and privacy, security and privacy, testbeds. So these are the highlights where I'm directly involved. We are the top in UK for research impact, particularly with KTP value of exceeding £10 million. We are also active in European projects. So we've been in the program as far as I'm involved, and I'm quite early compared to my colleagues from FP7, and we are now progressing to Horizon Europe. We have about 5 projects started this year, and some are starting next year. And we are 9th in UK for research impact and 6th for research power. The department is mainly for groups, and I'm going to be focusing on the communications and networks because we are edge, cloud, and services for the purpose of this session. The other groups are very active and very relevant in terms of bringing use cases. So if you are interested, have a look, and I'm happy to bridge you to the right people. In the context of data, so this looks data 01, but actually we are relevant to all data calls of interest. And what we are looking for, and particularly addressing more and more of the reliability and sustainability challenges, particularly in the presence of multiple actors. So I'm involved heavily in energy optimized continuum. So if you take your services and you start putting them on the continuum, what does that look like from an energy perspective? And this is becoming more and more relevant as we are moving to digital transformation, right? So particularly if we start taking some of the use cases, for example, the one that Rolf talked about in the morning in terms of you have your smart home, you are pushing, and you have an energy supplier. Where do you put what? Where do you orchestrate? Do you actually have one orchestrator or multiple? Because you have multiple actors, and some of them not necessarily share everything with each other. That's one of the novel challenges we started looking into. How can you get consensus in the presence of limited information sharing? When you start talking about AI, the problem becomes quite more interesting. So if you look at, for example, spatial web, and this is something that we started looking into more, and we tried to bring AI into the picture. So you have AI components connected to each other. How can you orchestrate these to achieve the global objective of an application domain? So we are looking at these challenges. We are quite active in open source development and testing as well. So we bring solutions from TRL 3 to TRL 5, approximately TRL 6. We have our own state-of-the-art testbed infrastructure. And when I say state-of-the-art, it's not necessarily as big as some of what you have. Some of what colleagues I know have, but it's pretty much a state-of-the-art. So we have P4 connected to SDN, connected to different cloud infrastructure, and you have OpenStack in trying to interact with Kubernetes and the whole mixture trying to work together, right? So I've been told that so use cases, we are open to discuss many. Get in touch. I'm here and hopefully speak to many of you.
Today, yeah? You're here all day, Mice, yes?
Yes.
Perfect. Round of applause. Thank you very much. Impressive portfolio. Okay, we have next Irene. You can give that to me. That's super. Irene, can you hear us? Carrion Alvarez from FundingBox. Hi, Irene. How are you doing?
Hi.
Good. We can hear you loud and clear. Do you have a slides? Would you like us to present them for you?
If you have them there.
We do have. We should have them. Bear with us.
Yes.
Yeah, that's up now. You're on. Go.
Hello, I'm Irene Carrion. I'm the head of few projects at FundingBox. FundingBox is a pan-European company with hubs in Poland, Denmark, and Spain, and a lot of cross-country activity through projects and other initiatives. And next slide, please. What we focus is in providing impact to projects. Our focus, our main core activity is to bring funding, connections, access to infrastructures, and access to markets to technology developers, startups, and early adopters of technology, SMEs, small SMEs, and so on. So in the projects, what we do is to bring them into the projects, usually using the Cascade funding instrument that the European Commission set up in many projects, and also using other type of activities. We have managed more than 50 projects with open calls in areas related with digital transformation, deep tech, and different verticals. And we also work a lot in extending the results of the projects throughout Europe using a regional through the regional ecosystem, Digital Innovation Hubs, and other regional intermediaries. Next slide, please. So for the Data-01-03, clearly we are willing to participate as Cascade funding managers. We have, as I said, a lot of experience both in defining the open calls and managing all the legal and financial workflow. We have managed more than 136 open calls, and we have a steady outreach through startup community for them to bring them to the project. And we are amongst the projects we are managing the Cascade funding. There's Nefeli and ICOs that are directly related with Cloud-Edge. Next slide, please. We don't consider Cascade funding in the void, as has already been mentioned in the session. This is something that has to be linked with the exploitation and impact of the project. So we develop other activities to relate the Cascade funding with other elements of the project. And we also do this in projects that doesn't have Cascade funding. That means setting a community of startups around the projects, engaging with the IHs to bring the results of the projects to the regions, showcase what the use cases and the sub-grantees have done, all to this to multiply the dissemination and exploitation of the project, taking into account not only what the consortium has done by itself, but what has been able to be done through the Cascade funding projects, the sub-grantees that have been supported. And as is shown in the slide, we have worked in several regions, technologies, and verticals, mostly focusing in startups and end users that use digital technologies to advance and innovate. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Irene. Thank you. Thank you very much. Round of applause, please, Irene. Next up, Feiko Gorta. He's an IoT lead from EUCloud Solutions, giving input from NanoFramework. I know you got up very early this morning. Yeah. So over to you, Feiko.
Good afternoon, everybody. Very excited to be here. My name is Feiko Gorter. I work for Sageka, an IT company. Headquarters actually here in Belgium. I live in the Netherlands. I'm the head of the IoT, but I'm here today on behalf of NanoFramework, .NET NanoFramework. And the million-dollar question, of course, is what is .NET NanoFramework? Well, .NET NanoFramework is the .NET C# developing language for microcontrollers, for low-power devices, battery-powered devices. So I just took an example with me. devices this small, running just with a few hundreds or even less kilobytes of RAM, less than 100 megahertz. And we've been able to put a higher language as C# on these devices. And that's very important because IoT is very hard, it's very difficult, and it's very expensive. And especially the embedded development, so the development for these tiny low power devices are difficult to get, and especially when you're talking about low quantity number of devices. NanoFramework, we're completely open source. Everything is up on GitHub. I'm here in my spare free time because this is how much I like NanoFramework and very excited to be here. And I'm not alone. I'm here with 80 plus active contributors, all contributing to this platform. We're completely European based. Technolution is actually the founder, a small Portuguese company who founded NanoFramework. And the great thing is we have a community over 5,000 members, and we have over 16 million downloads of our library, and that's growing exponentially. So every month these days we have like 1 million downloads of our open source library. That's how big we are. And I think that's a great achievement. And why are we so successful? It's because of two things, especially because these devices, as tiny as they are, the prices have gone down way low. So every .NET developer, the people who are building your websites, your mobile applications, are able just to buy these things for €2. This is, by the way, a RISC-V microcontroller. We support that microcontroller architecture among all other different microcontroller architectures. And secondly, because normally if you want to program these devices, you need to do that in the programming language C or C++. Those are very hard languages to learn. It takes a lot of effort to program complex applications. And we brought down the complexity to the level that people with higher language skills can do this. And we're using, we're using the skill sets and the tool sets that these people already know. So bringing IoT to a whole new group of people. And I think this is something we need when we talk about the Green Deal. For example, here I'm sitting next to a water quality sensor, just 20 sensors. Without higher languages for these tiny controllers, we can't get those things to work. Okay, skipping forward because I only have 1 minute left, less than 1 minute. Just to highlight, 100% open source. We enable swift and agile development for these types of devices. We're enabling the Green Deal because we're bringing more measuring points, creating more big data. We're very open and hoping to join a consortium, helping drive pilot projects and helping to advance NanoFramework, adding more edge computing things to it, OpenAI, OpenML. My time's up. Thank you very much. Please contact me if you're interested.
So, quick question: is this your first time in being a beneficiary, potential beneficiary?
Yes.
Okay, so your idea is to try and expand the NanoFramework solutions into multiple projects, then, right?
Yeah, yeah. If can be, yeah. We're very much looking very open to join. Like I said, we're completely open source, so it's very new environment for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Round of applause. Thank you very much. Thanks. Next up, we have Golbu Purabdolian. But Golbu, you'll know many of her thanks to EUCloudEdgeIoT. She's the coordinator for Unlock CAI, and over to you on IDC. Thank you.
Thank you, Silvana. So, if I can, yes, thank you. So my name is Golbu Purabdolian. I'm a consulting manager in IDC, and as Silvana said, IDC is coordinating the Unlock CAI, which is one of the two CSAs of the EUCloudEdgeIoT. So I want to have a quick pitch on what we do in IDC and in general in the European funded projects. If you can go to next slide, please. So IDC, I think most of you know IDC. IDC, or International Data Corporation, is a leader in the market intelligence and market research across the world, not only in Europe. So we have around 1,300 research analysts overall in the globe, and we provide forecasts and solutions for the technology providers, technology buyers, and vendors. So our core competencies that we provide are data. So we have more than 2 billion data points that have been produced across 500 markets. As I said, we have research analysts in different domains: IoT, cloud, edge, skills, data spaces, etc., in Europe and all around the world. We do large surveys. So last year, we surveyed 350,000, individuals. And we have expertise in industry and technology and use cases. We have over 400 use cases across different sectors. So what we do in the EU research and environment landscape, if we can go to next slide, please. So these are the competencies, the expertise that we offer. We do market analysis, both on the supply and demand side. We do research on both digital transformation and Green Deal. So this is on different aspects. So it can be technology observatory, it can be data visualization, impact assessment, and skills development plans. And we provide also the skills on go-to-market and positioning of the solutions, and project coordination. Our area of expertise are AI, data analytics, computing continuum, data sharing, data spaces, connectivity, and semiconductors. We are involved in we are running now more than 20 EU-funded projects. These are just some of them that you can see. And specifically, now we are interested, if we go to the next slide, we are interested in 0103. So the larger scale pilots, and also the emerging 21 open sources for Cloud-Edge. So I'm here the whole day. Just I will be happy to have a chat with you later on. Thank you very much.
Next up, Daniel Trabucchi. Daniel, he is a senior assistant professor from Politecnico di Milano.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me here. I heard many of your pitches and you deal with a lot of hard technologies and a lot of data. We come with a very different perspective. We started 10 years ago doing research on how to build business models around data. And that's the kind of perspective that we bring on platforms. Building on the literature out there on how platforms work, on how they can actually enhance different types of innovation, we built up a reference model that aims on the one hand to classify possible platforms directions and platforms typologies, and on the other to find a way to let platforms evolve towards something that is sustainable from various perspectives. In a different way, we kind of label platform thinking as that way to foster innovation through platforms, to let a technology become something wider and involving many different stakeholders, highlighting the opportunities that this type of business model has. And on the other hand, to go against some of the launching barriers that this type of business models have. We don't have directly, well, we come from Politecnico di Milano, so in our university there are a lot of groups working on various projects, but the two of us that are behind platform thinking don't have a direct expertise in EU-funded projects, but we are here to look for possible partnerships to enter in some consortium and to explore collaboration opportunities. I just close saying that if you want to know more, I'm available through email or LinkedIn or wherever you want. Platformthinking.eu is the place that is kind of getting together the various initiatives we have. We work with many established companies and with Italian-funded projects to actually design the launching phase and growth of platforms. So, thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Pause. And with that, I don't believe we have Jan de Munk, do we? We did have him remote. Are you here remotely? Can you hear us? I was informed that he wasn't able to make it. And we did have also a pitch from an Idealist partner, Edina Nemeth, who isn't present. Idealist, you might be familiar with the program. It's probably been the longest serving running project that has been out for many, many years. It's a partner search facility where each country is involved in Idealist, normally the national contact point, and it's a facility to help you also find partners. So that would have been the pitch had Edina been here, but she will be providing her slides as well that you can actually have a look at and do contact them. So within your country, if you're coordinating, you're looking for partners, you go to your corresponding country NCP within Idealist, and they can also support you. So with that, we've actually ended our pitches. So round of applause to everyone, also online. Yes, great. So what will happen now, apart from a great lunch, which is going to be served tomorrow. That's not a lot of good, is it? Downstairs. What you need to do is take away your belongings here, because we're going to actually reshape the two rooms, Launchpad and Balcony, for your networking sessions, where there'll be tables set up with a number on the table as well, so you know already which table to go to with the corresponding person that you've managed to book your one-on-one meeting with, which is great. We do have some Slidos just before we finish. So, okay, if we'd like to go back here, join the Slido that we did this morning, just a couple of hours ago, with the numbers you have here. So punch in the numbers 2618332. Would you be interested in a follow-up event next year to discover more about what was presented today? So I think, Ralph, we have something to do for next year then. So everyone said yes. And if we can move on, we also have a follow-up question here. No? Let's go back a second. It doesn't load. Is this just for you, or is anyone else having problems accessing? No, other people are okay with this, because the second question we asked, in 1 or 2 words, what are the priorities you'd like to discuss in the follow-up meeting? We have participants typing. We have a slow reaction though to those of you who are online, so we will wait just a second. Get those words in just 1 or 2. This will help clearly shape the next edition. So think about what you want to be writing here. So coordinator, progress. Find who's coordinating. So and people are saying that you appreciate the networking facility that we have here. In scope, out scope sectors, okay. Okay, so it seems to be very repeating the coordinating part. Okay. Matchmaking, cloud native. Who's driving the proposals? Pilots, energy. So in fact, we had quite a few newcomer pitches online and in person, which is great. It's always good to get involved with those consortia, or at least a coordinating partner who really can drive the proposal forward. It's an excruciating job for the coordinating partner who does this. You always want to make sure that each of your partners are relevant, that you don't acquire passengers along the way. And something that a personal experience from our side, how your partners behave during the proposal preparation is indicative to how they will be should your proposal get funded. So if you have quite a silent partner during your proposal phase, they are not going to wake up once the bid gets through, I'm afraid. So if they are extremely silent, you may want to choose whether to keep them there or not, because there are no time for passengers. You need doers, you need people who act, you need to have enthusiastic partners who make it also part of their business mission in their company, because they have a vested interest. Those are the organizations who are going to work better within a research and innovation project. It's always the case. Try and find those partners. Find kind partners as well. That's also extremely important too. Okay, I don't know whether, Rolf, you want to say any concluding words, if you're happy, or you want to say just a few words. It's always nice to hear from the European Commission at the end of any of these types of events. Rolf, over to you.
I think, thank you. I think generally I'm quite positive, surprised about the level of commitment and enthusiasm you've shown in the pitches. We know we are clear, we are clearly in an early stage still, but that was the purpose of the meeting, to start your thinking, to start triggering. I think we have seen different levels of ambitions, we have seen different levels of maturity of technology as well. I think about that if technology is not mature, you can still bring it on if it's interesting through open courts later on. But I think the most burning thing would be to, yes, accept, to create a story, to put the core partners together and hope, this event created some ideas for you, gives you some perspective, find some first partners, and thanks again for your time and your enthusiasm, and interest in the call. Thanks so much.
Very good. Okay, so with that, then we're ready to wrap up. I'd like to thank our online participants who stayed on up till the end. You can review this session both sessions are recorded, so you can go back to it and listen to any of the presentations that were given earlier on. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank both consortia involved in EUCloudEdgeIoT, Unlock CI and Open Continuum. Lots of colleagues behind the scenes were here to make this work seamlessly. It's never easy to do hybrid sessions, and I think all in all, we didn't go massively over time, so that's always a good thing. Thank you very much to the technical team at the back there. We appreciate your support. Have a lovely lunch and get some good networking going during the sessions from 2 onwards, and safe travels back today or tomorrow if you're leaving. Thank you very much also to our online participants. Thanks once again, everybody. Bye. Thank you.